Chapter 120. On New Year's Eve, S.J. Boys appeared on the Spring Festival Gala again. Zhuo Yichen proved his stage performance in front of the entire country. His singing was always the most stable in the group. Many passers-by who had never paid attention to him realized one thing. The supporting actor in Dark Night Will See Light actually sang so well. When the four of them were invited backstage for an interview, the host asked them to send their blessings to the fans. Geng Xian and the others all said things like happiness, good health, and a happy family. When Zhuo Yichen arrived, he smiled and said, "I just wish everyone a good new year, achieve good results, and never let yourself down." The couple fans in front of the TV cheered. With such a main character who loved to give out candy, they really didn't even need to produce their own food. This was in front of the entire country's audience. It was the best proof of charging. Zhuo Yichen's remaining fans were furious. The couple fans online were so shameless that they thought everything was in their own imagination. The couple fans, on the other hand, retorted. If Zhuo Yichen didn't like Chu Xiong, he could have just stopped mentioning charging. He clearly knew what the couple was, yet he still mentioned it. If he wasn't giving out candy, then what was? They loved his boldness. Zhuo Yichen obviously had a hidden meaning in his words. The most important thing was that he didn't let himself down. Did the bunch of fans who were tearing each other work hard in reality? Did they have time to work hard? They were fans of such a motivated idol. They were tearing each other apart on the internet, yet they still had the nerve to appear in public. Weren't they embarrassed? After the number of fans decreased, they lost again. Their love for Zhuo Yichen also decreased. The day after New Year's Eve was the first day of the Lunar New Year. Fleeting Years was released. Many people bought tickets to watch it because of director Chen's reputation. This was Zhuo Yichen's first time as the male lead in a movie. He shouldered the burden of the box office. Stars from all over the country rushed to the theater to support their idol's box office. However, they didn't expect to go in happily, and almost all of them came out crying. Zhuo Yichen's life in the movie was too tragic. His relationship with the female lead was too torturous. When they saw Zhuo Yichen, who was as thin as a match, grabbing the rice on the ground and stuffing it into his mouth, they all cried. When they saw him being misunderstood by the heroine and sitting alone on the ground in a daze, they cried even harder. Actually, Zhuo Yichen's previous label was that of a teen idol. He was the standard type of person who was popular. People had just started to realize that he had grown up and that his acting skills had improved, but that was only limited to television dramas. This time he was taking on the lead role in director Chen's movie. To be honest, not many people were optimistic about him. After all, acting in a movie required even more superb acting skills. Everyone felt that he was still a little lacking. Even Xingchen went to the cinema with the intention of supporting her idol. However, they were all shocked by Zhuo Yichen's acting skills. This was no longer the level of good acting skills in Dark Night Will See Light, but the real explosive acting skills. In the movie, Zhuo Yichen threw away all the burden of being an idol. He was down and out like a miserable beggar. He kowtowed to beg for mercy and fought with stray dogs for food. He really had no image to speak of. There was also Zhuo Yichen's empty and numb eyes. He broke down and cried bitterly. He laughed hysterically. Every emotion was so heart-wrenching. Then he became strong and worked hard to fight back. He resolved crises time and time again and became a powerful warlord. Zhuo Yichen acted exceptionally well in every stage of the lead role. In the entire movie, no one in the audience would have thought that he was their idol, Zhuo Yichen. Everyone who watched the movie would only see the scenes in the movie that lasted for a lifetime. There was not a single second where he was out of character. As for Xingchen, they had a deeper understanding of how Zhuo Yichen had suffered when he was filming this movie. He had lost too much weight in the variety show Fleeting Years. When they thought of how he had lost so much weight when he attended the event and was called ugly by anti-fans, they felt even more sorry for Zhuo Yichen. How could such an outstanding and hard-working young man be bullied by anti-fans? Were those anti-fans even human? After the movie had finished airing, there were already a lot of negative reviews on the internet. The overall score of the movie was pulled down to 5 points. There were all kinds of complaints about how popular idols could not carry the movie's box office. They said that it was director Chen's biggest failure to find a popular idol to play the lead role and so on. Xingqian's fans had not yet recovered from their uncomfortable emotions after watching the movie, but they were all furious. Chu Xiang immediately posted a long review of the movie. She commented on the plot of the movie and Zhuo Yichen's acting from an extremely professional point of view. She was best at screenwriting and acting. Just by looking at her movie reviews, everyone could feel that she was a professional and knowledgeable person. The screenwriter of Fleeting Years and director Chen both reposted her Weibo. 2 famous professors from the Film Academy also reposted her Weibo. They praised her analysis of the script and acting, which captured the essence of the movie. They also praised Zhuo Yichen for acting very well. In the past, people only knew that she was a cartoonist and an editor. They never knew that she had such a deep understanding of scripts and acting. She was like a treasure trove. She could always surprise people without them noticing. The industry insiders seemed to have acknowledged that the movie was indeed good. Zhuo Yichen's acting was indeed as good as Chu Xiang had written. Many people who did not want to watch the movie decided to watch it. Xingqian's fans restrained their anger after seeing Chu Xiang's review. They advised each other in the group not to quarrel with the anti-fans and not to give them any popularity. They had all watched the movie before and knew how high the quality of the movie was. They also knew how strong Zhuo Yichen was. Now they had to be like Chu Xiang and promote Zhuo Yichen's excellence. They had to let more people watch the movie in theaters instead of fighting and ruining Zhuo Yichen's popularity. Zhuo Yichen was outstanding. They had to be worthy of Zhuo Yichen's excellence and become the most high-quality fan club. Those in Xingqian who knew how to write would write their own long film reviews. Those who did not would repost Chu Xiang's review and sincerely praise Zhuo Yichen's acting. They would also write down their feelings when they watched the movie. Many fans did not know how to use flowery words or professional analysis. However, they truly admired Zhuo Yichen and felt sorry for Zhuo Yichen. Therefore, when they wrote down their feelings, even if it was only a few sentences, people could feel their sincere love. It was their love for Zhuo Yichen and also their love for Fleeting Time. Usually, whenever Zhuo Yichen was attacked by a large number of anti-fans, Chu Xiang's presence would be the strongest. Because of her popularity, she would definitely be on the hot search list. Then, she would use the best method to lead Xingqian to turn the situation around. It was the same this time. She was on the hot search list with a professional film review. On a special day like the first day of the Lunar New Year, not only did she not play to the gallery, but she also highlighted her knowledge and upbringing. However, what made everyone even more amazed was Stars Entertainment's discipline. Many netizens thought that a fan war would break out, but in the end, the Stars Entertainment fans who fought aggressively 2 years ago were all posting movie reviews, reposting movie reviews, and praising Zhuo Yichen's good points. Very few of them fought with the haters. In retrospect, this change was very shocking. It actually changed during the process of Zhuo Yichen being defamed and spread rumors. This change was simply a miracle. When Xingqian posted their reviews, they posted pictures of tickets to the movie to show that they had really watched the movie. Compared to those random negative reviews, Xingqian's fan club was especially well educated. It made the anti-fans even more brainless and directly proved Xingqian's purchasing power. Zhuo Yichen did not need to be the number 1 on the hot search list, the top celebrity title, or the illusory support on the internet. His fans' purchasing power was the strongest support for him. This wave of movie reviews promoted Fleeting Time as much as possible. It also reversed the poor impression that the anti-fans had created for everyone. It made more people curious about Fleeting Time and went to the cinema to watch it. A good movie would have a lot of good reviews. Director Chen's Fleeting Time should have been popular. Because Zhuo Yichen was once a popular idol, the anti-fans that he attracted brought some negative impact to the movie. However, His fans immediately shattered this negative impact and even pushed the popularity of Fleeting Time up a lot. It made Fleeting Time even more popular than expected. It was a big hit. More people watched it, more movie reviews, and more people actually rated it. The rating of Fleeting Time slowly rose to 9.6 points. It welcomed the spontaneous promotion of the audience, and the box office rose steadily. In just 1 week, the box office exceeded 1.5 billion yuan. The public's impression of Zhuo Yichen was completely changed. He was no longer synonymous with a popular idol. He was a real capable actor. Fleeting Time allowed director Chen to achieve another good result. It also allowed Zhuo Yichen to complete the perfect transformation from a popular idol to a capable actor. It also allowed many people who paid attention to the trending topics on the internet to understand more of Chu Xiong's professional skills. Ordinary audiences would not care about the dubbing of movies, but netizens would. When they were deeply moved by the abusive relationship between the male and female leads in the movie, it was hard not to think that all the words of the female lead were dubbed by Chu Xiong. Chu Xiong's skills were superb. Just listening to the voice with closed eyes could make one's heart tremble. How many abilities did she show people this time? She was actually the chief editor alongside her mentor, Professor Lin. She was actually the dubbing of the female lead. Her skills were so good. She could even analyze the script and act professionally. She could even silently influence Xingchen's behavior. She could even perfectly turn a crisis into a publicity stunt. What couldn't she do? No one knew. How many more skills did she have that she had yet to show? No one knew either. Someone dug out the video of Zhuo Yichen at the award ceremony where she had yet to show her excellence in all aspects. In the video, Zhuo Yichen looked at Chu Xiong with stars in his eyes. It was as if he was worshipping her. Everyone finally understood why Zhuo Yichen treated Chu Xiong so differently and why she was his idol. Thinking about it, although Chu Xiong was Zhuo Yichen's fan sister, she was also Zhuo Yichen's senior. She was a very outstanding person, whose fans were definitely not as good as their idols. She was a very outstanding person. She was so outstanding that her idol turned around and became her fan. She was really worth it. Zhuo Yichen being acknowledged and Chu Xiong being praised made Xingchen inexplicably happy. She felt unusually proud. Logically speaking, they should be jealous when they knew that Zhuo Yichen was treating Chu Xiong better and better. Logically speaking, they should feel uncomfortable when they knew that Zhuo Yichen and Chu Xiong had spent so much time together on the set of Fleeting Years. In the beginning, when Zhuo Yichen was announced as a couple, they felt very uncomfortable. However, the strange thing was that when Fleeting Years revealed a sadomasochistic couple between Zhuo Yichen and the female lead, Xingchen did not feel anything. It was as if Ying was already used to all kinds of couples popping up around Zhuo Yichen. They did not seem to care at all, let alone take the sadomasochistic couple to heart. When Xingchen found out that Chu Xiong had spent so much time with Zhuo Yichen on the set and even dubbed the female lead, Xingchen's first reaction was not jealousy. Instead, they were suddenly relieved. They were relieved that Zhuo Yichen had Chu Xiong by his side during those days that made their hearts ache. Chu Xiong was their true fan without a doubt. Chu Xiong must have taken good care of Zhuo Yichen. In fact, Chu Xiong might have even helped Zhuo Yichen a lot. These were things that they could not see or understand. However, when they thought about it, they felt relieved. They did not know when the trust they had for Chu Xiong had taken root in their hearts. It made them certain that as long as Chu Xiong was around, Zhuo Yichen would not suffer too much. Although they regretted that they could not help their idol when he was suffering, they were grateful to Chu Xiong for what Chu Xiong had done. When Du Wei attacked Chu Xiong again, Chu Xiong's fans did not need to say anything. Instead, Xingchen immediately stood up and built a wall for Chu Xiong. They did not know if Chu Xiong and Zhuo Yichen had an ambiguous relationship. They seemed to be used to not thinking about this kind of thing. This was because they only recognized the official announcement. If Zhuo Yichen did not make an official announcement, they did not need to think about the couple. They would not doubt Zhuo Yichen or Chu Xiong because of this kind of thing. It was not good to have internal strife. They had to always be united and work hard to improve. A collective soul was really important. Moreover, it was a very subtle thing that could only be found by chance. Xingqian was lucky to have a collective soul. They hugged tightly and protected their idol together. The success of Fleeting Time directly brought new high-quality jobs to Chu Xiang and Zhuo Yichen. Chu Xiang was already in the second semester of her senior year. She could apply for an internship and did not have to go to school anymore. She accepted a long-term job as the chief editor of a movie and went abroad to work on a set. As for Zhuo Yichen, he only had 4 months left on his contract with the company. The company wanted to arrange a few variety shows and a movie for him to earn fast money, but he rejected them. He made the company agree to his arrangement with a cut of a TV series, 2 movies and 2 new songs. This meant that even if he left the company, these resources would still be with the company. The cut was enough to cover the pay of several variety shows. The company made a profit. Zhuo Yichen also had his own considerations. He wanted to continue honing his acting skills and learning about directing. The set was the best place for him to stay. He could not waste his time filming variety shows, so it was very worthwhile to use some money in exchange for these results. Anyway, after these resources were over, the company would not be able to take advantage of him anymore. Compared to him, Geng Xian and the others were a little miserable. This was because they had been busy with the work that the company had arranged for them. They did not improve their business skills significantly. They did not become capable people like Zhuo Yichen. Now, they did not have the capital to negotiate with the company. They could only continue to work according to the company's arrangements. Fortunately, they only had 4 months left. After 4 months, they could plan their careers properly and improve their professional skills. Zhuo Yichen's TV series was not in the capital. It was very far from Chu Xiang. One was in the north while the other was in the south. This filming would take 3 months. It would be broadcast during the winter holidays at the end of the year. After filming the TV series, he would film for 4 months and rush to release it on New Year's Day. After that, he would film for another 3 months and release it during the summer holidays of the following year. This meant that he would be filming in seclusion for the whole year. He would have to rush back to school to make up for missed lessons during his off days. Fans only wanted to see him at the end of the year concert, the TV series during the winter holidays, the New Year's Day movie, and the following summer holidays. He would attend a few endorsement events, but the exposure rate was quite low. He would only be able to post some photos and videos for his fans to see. No matter how Zhuo Yichen thought about it, he felt that his fans were very pitiful. Therefore, he carefully screened all the invitations. During the 10 months that he did not appear in public, he accepted 3 invitations to fly in for variety shows. He would appear on a variety show about 3 months later. They were all outdoor reality shows with more screen time and a more active image. It was considered that he would meet his fans once in a while. However, even though he tried his best to arrange it, some fans still left him. One of the big fans even posted a long Weibo post before she left. Zhuo Yichen had grown very well and was becoming more and more outstanding in all aspects. She had been a fan of Zhuo Yichen for 5 years. She was very gratified to see Zhuo Yichen become so outstanding. However, she liked to chase after celebrities. She liked the feeling of seeing her idols often. She also liked cute and helpless boys. Therefore, she could not continue to be a fan of Zhuo Yichen, who had grown up well and had been in seclusion for a long time. She wished Zhuo Yichen better and better in the future. Some fans had the same thoughts as her. The reason why Zhuo Yichen noticed this big fan was because he had an impression of her. Not long after he had debuted and before he had a group, he often saw her at the airport. Every time she would shout, "Son, mommy loves you." Therefore, he had a deep impression of her. Seeing that she had left his fan, he could understand, but he could not help but feel a little disappointed. Chu Xiang found out about this from Geng Xian. After she finished her work, she video called Zhuo Yichen. When she saw Zhuo Yichen chatting with her with a smile, she sighed and said, "Actually, if you are unhappy, you can talk to me." You don't have to hide it in your heart. Zhuorichen's smile faded a little. He shook his head and said, I'm not really unhappy. Everyone has something they like. It's normal for some fans to like children who are a little more. I've known that for a long time. It's the kind of feeling that, after being together for so many years, it's more or less uncomfortable to be separated suddenly. I'm fine. Chu Xiang quickly sketched a few strokes on the drawing board. She drew an angry Zhuoyichen with puffed cheeks and sent it to him. Zhuoyichen instantly burst out laughing. Since when did I do that? You are really a fake fan. You always ruin my image. No, you have to draw me again. You have to draw me as handsome and elegant as a tree in the wind. Hurry up. When Chu Xiang saw him laugh, the corners of her mouth curled up. Don't you think that this is very cute? It's the kind of cute boy that is popular on the internet. Zhuoyichen looked at her and asked, You didn't take any pictures of me when I went to endorsement events. Are you going to stop being my fan? Sister Chu Xiang, do you still remember that you are a fan? You are a little unprofessional. Whose fault is that? We are a couple now. I will be recognized at any time if I go to an event, okay? Why don't I follow your schedule next time? Haha, I'm just kidding. You are so busy with work. Why would you follow my schedule? I can send you as many selfies as you want. Zhuoyichen coughed twice and asked what was on his mind. I remember that when you first met me, you also liked cute and lively boys. Boys have to grow up eventually. How do you feel now? Chu Xiang held her chin and tilted her head. She looked at Zhuoyichen, who was trying hard to hide his anticipation, and laughed. Me. I feel like the cute boy that I raised and protected has turned into a ferocious wolf. I am so scared that I don't dare to stop being your fan. I can only continue to love and pamper you. Zhuoyichen averted his eyes. His face was red. He lowered his head and coughed twice with his fist against his lips. He couldn't suppress the smile on his face and looked at Chu Xiang. He said softly, Are you blind? I am only fierce to outsiders. When have I ever been fierce to you? I am clearly the same as when you first met me. It's just that outsiders can't see it. This is the highest level of treatment for VIP fans. It is exclusive to the entire world and is one of a kind. This treatment is too high class. I think I can rely on this to continue being your fan for the rest of my life. Zhuoyichen immediately sat up straight and said softly to the screen, I heard you. You can't go back on your word. Chu Xiang had no resistance to his coquettish words. She rubbed one side of her ear and said with a smile, If you're afraid that I'll go back on my word, then hurry up and bring me the slave contract to sign. When the time comes, I'll be bound to you. I will definitely get it done soon. Wait for me. Zhuorichen's eyes were full of smiles. Every word he said sounded like a spoiled child. He didn't act like a steady veteran in front of outsiders at all. He was still a cute boy, but he would only be her cute boy in the future. He would be her exclusive and only one. At the end of the semester, Chu Xiang graduated from the film academy. Her ability was obvious to all. Many companies had already approached her to sign a contract, but she had tactfully rejected them all. It wasn't until Zhuoyichen announced in July that he would leave the company and set up his own studio that her contract was finalized, and she became the second boss of the studio. The contract Zhuoyichen gave her was indeed very free. He directly made her the boss without any restrictions. She could leave whenever she wanted. Dongji couldn't bear to watch. Zhuoyichen would definitely be a rake in the future. However, after Chu Xiang took over the studio, Dongji admired her wholeheartedly. She was really a super expert. She managed the studio well and had sharp eyes. The people she had poached were all elites. They were much better than the previous company. Chu Xiang had finished editing the movie. For the time being, she stayed in the studio as if she was on vacation. She could manage the newly opened studio well. She didn't want her friend to be too busy. Zhuoyichen was filming in another city. Whenever he had time, he would fly back. He said that he wanted to check on the situation of the studio. In fact, everyone knew that he had ulterior motives. He loved to stay by Chu Xiong's side and make her laugh. During this summer vacation, Zhuo Yichen wrote a very sweet song. It was the first love song he had written. Every sentence and every word in the song hid his love for Chu Xiong. It was so well hidden that outsiders couldn't see it even if they wanted to. They just felt that it was sweet and pleasant. After the song was released, he even acted coquettishly to Chu Xiong. "You have to set my new song as your ringtone. I sing so well. You'll definitely like it." Chu Xiong knew what he was thinking. She deliberately hesitated. "I don't think it's a good idea. What if I call you when I'm shopping with Auntie? She'll think that I'm an idiot." "No, you have to change it. I'll change it for you." Zhuo Yichen reached out to take Chu Xiong's phone. Seeing that Chu Xiong didn't object, he smiled happily. He directly recorded the chorus of the new song and set it as Chu Xiong's ringtone and alarm clock. Chu Xiong deliberately teased him. "How did you record it live? Is the effect okay? It's not as good as the one recorded in the studio, right?" Xiong, are you doubting your idol's ability? Do you want me to prove it to you?" Zhuo Yichen put on a puzzled face and returned the phone with a smile. Chu Xiong asked, "How do you prove it?" "I've decided to sing a song for you today. Ahem, it's starting." Zhuo Yichen cleared his throat and sat down next to her. Zhuo Yichen followed Chu Xiong for the whole day and sang more than 30 songs for her. It was like a private concert for her. Her ears were about to get pregnant. The next day, Zhuo Yichen flew to Sha City to record a program to promote the new song. The host teased him. "You are indeed an adult in your 20s. Even the style of your songs has become sweet." Zhuo Yichen smiled faintly. "After all, I am at this age. This style is just right. At this age, I see that many people online are saying that you are becoming more and more of an old cadre. Look at you singing such a sweet song today. Shouldn't you give your fans some benefits? Show a heart to the camera or confess to them." Zhuo Yichen shook his head and smiled. "An old cadre should act like one. I am very satisfied with the image that everyone has given me. I will keep it up in the future." The host said in amusement. "So conservative? Can't you show a heart to the camera? What are you afraid of?" "I am afraid that I will not be able to take responsibility if I flirt with someone. It is better to show a heart to the camera than to show it to my wife," Zhuo Yichen said jokingly. The host stretched out his hand and said, "I-oh, help me up. What kind of thunderbolt is this? Yichen is only 20 years old and he is already thinking about his future wife." Zhuo Yichen smiled. "After all, I am almost 30 years old. Some things need to be considered in advance. I don't want to set a mine for my future. I am also thinking about my lifetime happiness." He thought for a moment. "However, there are still benefits for fans. I will play the violin for everyone." The heartfelt confession turned into a talent show. The host was amused by this and secretly joked with Zhuo Yichen's assistant and makeup artist. This child is becoming more and more conservative as he grows up. He knows not to set a mine for his future. Haha, he has a bright future. The two of them smiled and agreed. They thought that Zhuo Yichen was only conservative outside. In front of another boss, he was completely unrestrained. Everyone in the studio was used to the double standards of Chu Xiong and Zhuo Yichen. To them, Chu Xiong was a workaholic, but to Zhuo Yichen, she was a gentle sister. To them, Zhuo Yichen was a cold veteran, but to Chu Xiong he was a cutie. If outsiders saw this, who would dare to say that the couple was fake? Zhuo Yichen had maintained this veteran style for more than 2 years. He did not do anything flirtatious. If he did not flirt, his fans had gradually gotten used to his style. When they saw the program, they felt helpless and amused. In the end, of course, they could only accept his talent show. After all, he played the violin very well. Zhuo Yichen went into seclusion every day. He was jokingly called a missing person. After his fans got used to it, they did their own things when he was not open for business. Dewey felt that it was very boring. The number of fans decreased, and the more active passers-by fans also ran away. The number of people who posted in the Super Forum decreased, and the ranking of the Super Forum fell out of the top 30. When a marketing account mentioned a few celebrities at the same time, the top comments in the comment section would be, "Don't go easy." Zhuo Yichen's popularity was ranked below the 20th spot. It looked as if his popularity had seriously dropped. Stubborn anti-fans used this to mock Zhuo Yichen. After all, a good film did not mean that he would be popular forever. Then, a movie was released during the National Day period. It was the movie that Zhuo Yichen had been asked by the company to make a cameo appearance. He played a depressed patient who had few scenes but had an important identity. As soon as the movie was released, he immediately became a hot topic. Everyone praised his acting and felt sorry for him after watching the movie. His cameo role actually became the most popular role in the movie. Everyone finally understood that Zhuo Yichen's popularity had stabilized among the public. People paid attention to his roles and watched his movies. These people did not necessarily chase after celebrities or do statistics. However, they would go to the cinema to watch Zhuo Yichen's movies. This was real traffic. How could those fake traffic compare to it? The anti-fans mocked Zhuo Yichen's popularity drop because he was looking for trouble. There was no point in mocking him for not being seen. It was just like how the award-winning actor Shao Qian only filmed one movie a year. Usually he would be in seclusion. However, that could not shake Shao Qian's position. Zhuo Yichen was now walking this path. He was still a guest and filmed variety shows to pamper his fans. Otherwise he might be in seclusion like Shao Qian. After all, Shao Qian was his idol. Everyone accepted Zhuo Yichen's transformation. Even the other three fans of the group no longer found trouble with Zhuo Yichen. Zhuo Yichen completely withdrew from the battle for popularity and focused on filming and holding concerts. This year's concert venue was twice as big as before. It could hold 50,000 people, but it was still full. This year their studio was in charge of everything. Chu Xiang had full authority to arrange everything. They used the same standards that she used for her concerts. It was completely at the level of a king. The effect of the concerts was much better than before, and the fans were wild with joy. She even invited Zhuo Yichen's three brothers to be secret guests. Xing Chen was now a well-educated fan. They did not have any opinions about the other three members of SJ Boys. Instead, they liked the friends that Zhuo Yichen liked. When Geng Xian and the other two were helping out with their performances, the stars were extremely enthusiastic, allowing the three of them to relax and smile as they displayed their strongest abilities. After the three of them finished their performances, Zhuo Yichen invited them to the stage and smiled. "I'm so happy today to be able to meet my three brothers on a stage like this. I hope that in the future we will have more performances to show everyone." The fans who were watching the live broadcast were going crazy with regret. They did not know that SJ Boys would be together at this concert. Geng Xian's fans were also regretting it. If they had known, they would have snatched the tickets too. How could the guest of this concert be so mysterious? How could there be no news at all? There were netizens who knew about them online. Wasn't it because of the three of them's fans who were always hating on Zhuo Yichen? If it had happened earlier, they would have mocked Zhuo Yichen for riding on his teammates' popularity. They would also mock Zhuo Yichen for using his teammates' reputation to sell tickets. Now they were keeping it a secret. The 50,000 people in the stadium were all Zhuo Yichen's fans. This was to prevent the drama queen from ridiculing them. Many people knew that Zhuo Yichen, who had terminated his contract with his previous company, would soar and no one would be able to stop him from moving forward. And all of this was created by him and Chu Xiang. When Xingchen found out that Chu Xiang and Zhuo Yichen were studio owners, she was impressed by the studio's amazing operations before she had time to feel conflicted. Compared to his previous company's actions of dragging him down, Chu Xiang was simply too amazing. Everything Zhuo Yichen did was arranged by her. Every crisis was almost perfect. Chu Xiang was really the number one person who protected Zhuo Yichen. Why would they have mixed feelings? At this time, all they had to do was praise her. Even the fans of other artists were envious. Which artist hadn't encountered a situation where their company didn't support them? When the fans were anxious and couldn't help, they really hoped that their artist would sign with a super awesome company. Chu Xiong was Zhuo Yichen's strongest backing. They also wanted such a strong person. At the year-end award ceremony, Zhuo Yichen won the Best Actor award for Fleeting Years, while Chu Xiong and Professor Lin won the Best Editing award together. The fans were even more envious. There were even people who came to Zhuo Yichen's studio and asked, "Does your company still sign artists? Please poach them." Of course, Zhuo Yichen wouldn't sign anyone. Even if Chu Xiong was willing to work for others, he wouldn't. It was enough that she was good to only him. The couple fans treated this award ceremony as New Year's Eve. This time, Chu Xiong and Zhuo Yichen were both part of the cast of Fleeting Years, and they were both bosses of the same studio. Hence, they took the same car to the ceremony. At that time, Zhuo Yichen got out of the car first. Then, he walked to the other side of the car and personally opened the door for Chu Xiong. Then, the double standards old man came online. He smiled the whole time and let Chu Xiong hold his arm. He had long forgotten about avoiding suspicion with the opposite sex. There were also two people who sat together and smiled from time to time. When they were far away, Zhuo Yichen came online again. When Chu Xiong was hugged by the male guest, Zhuo Yichen's subtle expression instantly turned into that of a jealous king. The whole time he was full of sugar. For some reason it felt like he had been eating for 3 years. There was plenty of material. After this award, Chu Xiong and Zhuo Yichen's value increased again. The quality of the resources they received also increased. Coincidentally, the studio was on the right track. Chu Xiong started to take on new editing jobs. At the same time, she started her second comic story. She and Zhuo Yichen couldn't always be together. Sometimes they were very far away from each other. Sometimes they were in different countries. However, they would video call each other almost every time. Zhuo Yichen didn't confess to her, and she didn't either. Anyway, every time they chatted, they would look at each other through the screen. Busy time always passed very quickly. Unknowingly, Zhuo Yichen had also graduated from university. He could arrange his time freely and was a little more relaxed. When he was interviewed for the first time after graduation, there was a segment where he drew questions from netizens. The question he drew was, "What is your most recent wish after graduation?" Zhuo Yichen thought for a while and smiled. "My wish is to personally direct a movie and fall in love." The host was surprised. "Is falling in love also a recent wish?" "Yes, 22 years old. I'm already of legal age." Zhuo Yichen's words immediately became a hot topic. Chapter 121. What did Zhuo Yichen mean by legal age? Did he want to get married? With whom? The netizens were discussing this matter, and even Xingchen was confused. They knew that their idol had grown up, graduated, and developed faster than his peers. But was he trying to be the first to get married? Wake up. You can't get married at such a young age. The netizens dug up all of Zhuo Yichen's shipmates since his debut and guessed which one was most likely to be Zhuo Yichen's favorite type. However, the moment they did, they were shocked. Among all of Zhuo Yichen's shipmates, other than Chu Xiong, none of them were in contact. In fact, there hadn't been any new shipmates in the past 2 years. Zhuo Yichen's habit of avoiding suspicion was well known. It seemed that only the charging couple was the most genuine. Even the charging couple had changed its name to or charging couple. Xingchen was a little flustered. She began to pay attention to Zhuo Yichen and Chu Xiong's situation. She watched the videos edited by the shipmates' fans and read the various analysis posts they posted. Although they weren't fans, they were fans. They only hoped that Zhuo Yichen would continue to be handsome. However, they couldn't help but admit that the two of them seemed to have a lot of love. The shipmates' fans didn't need to produce food, okay? They were panicking just from the love of the couple. The charging couple's shipmates' fans were super excited. They loved Zhuorichen's bold and secretive way of giving out love. Legal age. This was the first time they felt that this word was so beautiful. Please go to the Civil Affairs Bureau to get your marriage certificate immediately, okay? Zhuorichen was at home. When he saw these comments online, he couldn't help but laugh. When Mother Zhua saw this, she couldn't help but complain. You only know how to laugh foolishly at home. Go ahead and do it. You've liked her for so long, but you don't have the guts to confess. Useless. Then I have to have a suitable opportunity. How can I just confess so casually? Zhuorichen lay on the sofa and saved all kinds of sweet videos of him and Chu Xiang. They were all saved in the folder called Companionship. Mother Zhua snorted. Fine, just wait for the right opportunity. When Xiang Xiang gets chased away by someone else, you'll be crying. Of course not. Although Zhuorichen said so, he still felt a sense of crisis in his heart. Chu Xiang was so good. In the past few years, there were so many people chasing after her that he was about to die of jealousy. But he really felt that it wasn't time yet. He wasn't strong enough to shield her from all the storms. Although she might not need it because she was strong enough, being able to give her and not being able to give her were two completely different concepts. He had to be very formal and confess to Chu Xiang at the best opportunity. They couldn't start their relationship so hastily. However, he wasn't someone to be trifled with. In the past few years, he had completely infiltrated Chu Xiang's life. Chu Xiang was surrounded by his shadow everywhere. He had to secure his territory first and not let others have the opportunity to take advantage of him. He looked at his phone and tidied his hair. Then he lay on the sofa and supported his chin with one hand as he video-called Chu Xiang. When Chu Xiang picked up the call, she saw his soft and adorable expression. She immediately laughed. Why are you acting like this? Are you apologizing because you feel guilty that I'm on the hot search list? It's useless to act coquettishly. Zhuorichen laughed embarrassedly. How is it useless? It's always useful, okay? Then act coquettishly. Zhuorichen suddenly looked to the side and immediately got up. Mom, why were you eavesdropping? Mother Zhua snorted. Who was eavesdropping? You were the one who was so loud in the living room. Zhuorichen ran back to the room in a few steps and locked the door. Then, he lay on the flat bed and continued video calling Chu Xiang. Chu Xiang heard Mother Zhua calling him a stinker outside and held back her laughter. Why didn't you give Auntie the phone? I haven't seen Auntie in a long time. I haven't greeted her yet. Zhuorichen hurriedly said. No, she didn't give it to me after she got it. I really don't know why the two of you have so much to say. Okay, then do you want to act coquettishly? Zhuorichen smiled a little bashfully and said softly. I didn't know that it would be on the hot search list. I was just telling the truth. Ahem, I didn't expect them to be so concerned about this matter. After all, I'm a missing person. I'm no longer an idol, right? I thought that people would only care about my works and not my words. Chu Xiang deliberately teased him. Then your understanding of yourself is too inaccurate. Maybe you still have a large group of girlfriends, wife fans, and venomous fans waiting to scold your rumored girlfriend and your idol for being disqualified. How is that possible? Zhuorichen turned over on the bed and laid there with his arm resting on his head. He held the phone with his other hand and said casually, I abandoned my idol identity 4 years ago and became a real person. I've been focusing on my career as a missing person for many years. I've never sold my boyfriend persona even once. Sister, a fake fan like you is the one who has an inaccurate perception of me, okay? Chu Xiang walked to the bar in the room and poured a glass of red wine. She slowly swirled the glass and tilted her head slightly to take a sip. The phone was on Chu Xiang's side, so Zhuorichen could clearly see her beautiful neck and the subtle changes when she swallowed the red wine. He couldn't help but swallow his saliva. Chu Xiang tilted her head and looked at him with a smile. But I'm also a fan of girlfriends. Zhuorichen slammed the phone in his hand on his face. Chu Xiang only heard Zhuorichen's exhale and then the screen became chaotic. When Zhuo-Yichen reappeared, he looked annoyed and there was a red mark on his face. Chu Xiang was amused by his reaction and laughed out loud. Zhuo-Yichen's face turned red. He pulled the blanket over his face and stammered, "What are you laughing at? Haven't you seen a phone hit your face before? Who told you to do that?" Chu Xiang said matter-of-factly, "Then what I see is your boyfriend persona. Who told you to send me so many videos? Do you want me to help you recall what you look like in the videos?" No need. Zhuo-Yichen's face turned even redder. He only dared to be so flirtatious when he was recording videos. It was a little too explosive to do it directly. He moved back and leaned against the headboard to change the topic. "Sister Chu Xiang, when are you coming back?" Chu Xiang rested her chin on her hand and thought for a moment. "Me. In 7 months. It's a big production, so the post-production process will take a long time. 7 months is already good enough." Her heart softened when she saw Zhuo-Yichen's disappointed expression. "Do you want to come over? I'll go out with you." Of course, Zhuo-Yichen wanted to go, but he was preparing for his first movie and could only stay at home for half the day. He had to go out in the afternoon and had no time to go abroad. He sighed regretfully. "I really want to go. Sister, I'll put it on the tab this time. After I finish filming, I'll make up for everything you promised me. It'll be so much fun." Chu Xiang reached out to touch his face on the screen and said softly, "It's your first movie. Do you want me to go back and help you?" Zhuo-Yichen immediately laughed. "Sister Chu Xiang, your fans' filter is still super thick. You're willing to give up on international blockbusters for my movie. However, I'm satisfied with your words." He bent his legs and rested his chin on his knees as he said gently, "We have to work hard and not let go of any good opportunities. I'll wait for you to shine on the international stage." Chu Xiang smiled. "I won't make you wait for too long." "Huh." Zhuo-Yichen tilted his head. "Sister, aren't you a little too confident in yourself? That's great. You're just like me." The two of them laughed at the same time. Zhuo-Yichen looked at Chu Xiang with smiling eyes and said, "There are so many handsome guys overseas. Don't be charmed by them." Chu Xiang pretended to think about it. When Zhuo-Yichen narrowed his eyes, she smiled. "I won't be charmed. After all, I have an exclusive supply of milk puppies." Zhuo-Yichen buried half of his face in his knees, revealing only his smiling eyes. He complained in a muffled voice, "Sister Chu Xiang, you've become naughty." He had called her Chu Xiang and Xiang Xiang for a long time, but in private, he still liked to call her Sister Chu Xiang or Sister or. In fact, he had no intention of calling her sister. Every time he called her that, it sounded like he was acting coquettishly. It also sounded like he was saying, "Look, I'm still your little brother Yichen. I haven't changed at all." Chu Xiang had received so many awards in the past 2 years that her hands were sore. Professor Lin had personally praised her and said that she had surpassed him. She was now involved in the production of a huge IP overseas, so she didn't have to worry about the box office. It was an honor for her to be able to join the editing team. It was her first step on the international stage, so it was naturally very important. She actually felt a little regretful that she didn't participate in Zhuo-Yichen's first leading movie. This opportunity was very important for her to improve her skills. It could allow her to learn more professional knowledge and lay the foundation for better opportunities in the future. However, she didn't think much of it. If she missed this opportunity, she definitely had the ability to get a second chance. She just felt that Zhuo-Yichen wanted to become stronger quickly and rely on his own abilities to become stronger. If she gave up such a good opportunity to help him, no matter what he thought, the public would definitely criticize him. Even if the final result was good, his reputation would be greatly reduced. After all, she was already a gold medal editor in the country, and he was still a newcomer in the directing industry. Therefore, she didn't mention it again after that. Everyone needed to grow up. Everyone needed to be alone in the wind and rain. Only then would they be able to stand tall. She could protect him, but she was more willing to let him grow up well. The two of them worked hard in different countries, just like in the 4.5 years that they had known each other. They had been climbing steadily in their careers without slacking off. The two main leads of the couple didn't respond. One of them was filming a leading movie, while the other was doing post-production overseas. They were both in hiding and didn't even show their faces. Netizens couldn't find anything to discuss about them. Xing Chen wanted Zhuo Yichen to not be in a relationship. What was the use of the internet if he was in hiding? The couple's fans wanted to confirm that they were together, but there was no news about them. They didn't even have the chance to eat candy. This topic was like a flash in the pan, and it was quickly forgotten. Compared to the reactions of popular idols who mentioned that they wanted to be in a relationship, it was pitiful. Zhuo Yichen's popularity had already dropped out of the top 100, and there was no sign of him in any of the rankings. Now, when people talked about popular fresh meat, popular newcomers, and popular idols, Zhuo Yichen's name wasn't mentioned. There weren't any fans in the rankings either. Just like how he treated Chu Xiong. He had already quit the idol industry. In the past few years, Zhuo Yichen had won 2 Best Actor awards, 1 Best Supporting Actor award, and 1 Best Actor award. Every year, his songs were very popular, and he also won awards at music festivals. His achievements were very good. A year ago, the boy group SJ stopped appearing as a group. They were too busy and had different development directions. Forcing them to stay together was just a restriction, so they went their own ways. They removed the prefix from their Weibo names and disbanded the group. Now that Zhuo Yichen was a director behind the scenes, words like idol and idol were basically cut off from him. How passionate and long-lasting were the fans who chased after idols? Under the situation where Zhuo Yichen appeared less and less, there weren't that many people in Xingchen. If one were to talk about the composition of fans, there were girlfriend fans, drug addicts, only fans, career fans, and so on. The only ones left in Xingchen were probably true love fans. After all, only true love fans who liked him no matter what and had no opinions about his decisions could continue to like him even if they didn't see him twice a year. Now, Zhuo Yichen really couldn't be more low-key. For 5 months he was busy with the movie, filming, post-production, and countless problems as a first-time director. He only slept for 4 to 5 hours on average, and the rest of the time was spent on work. Sometimes, when the crew returned to the capital to film, he didn't even have time to go home to see his family. The results of this hard work were remarkable. His movie was released on the first day of the new year, competing with many outstanding movies, and even received 500 million at the box office. Most importantly, his filming cost was only 40 million. As a 23-year-old director, this kind of return was definitely high. This was Zhuo Yichen's beautiful report card for his 4 years of study in university. Even his tutor called him to congratulate him. However, this result was obviously not eye-catching in the eyes of outsiders. Good movies had at least 1 billion at the box office, but this movie only received 500 million. It was a flop. Which movie Zhuo Yichen had filmed in the past few years didn't become a hit? He had won so many awards and was so glorious. Why did he have to be a director and film such a flop? Wasn't it good to act more and earn more money and let others see his good acting skills? What are you messing around for? Because of Zhuo Yichen's fame, this kind of method was not rare on the internet. This was the saying, insiders see the artistry, while outsiders see the excitement. It was Zhuo Yichen's first time as a director, so he definitely had some shortcomings. It was already very good for his first movie to reach such a level. However, the netizens who appreciated it were few and many of them were nitpicking, thinking that it was for his own good. There were even fans of his career who pointed out that he should try to direct while acting. They seemed to know the path he should take better than himself. There were even people who kept mentioning Chu Xiong on her Weibo, asking her to persuade Zhuo Yichen not to mess around. He was a movie king, but he wasn't necessarily a good director. It was fine if he liked to play around, but it shouldn't be his main business. Ever since Chu Xiong went abroad, she hadn't updated her Weibo. These people didn't expect her to respond when they mentioned her. Unexpectedly, Chu Xiong's Weibo, which had been silent for a long time, suddenly updated. Visiting V. You just need to focus on your studies. I'll wait for you to come out. Zhuichen. It was such a simple sentence, but it instantly brought everyone back to the summer a few years ago. It was the summer when Xingqian's results were released on a large scale and caused a sensation. However, back then Chu Xiong had said, "Xingqian is waiting for you." This time she had said, "I." Many Xingqian fans who had questioned Zhuiqian's choice, as well as many former Xingqian fans who had left, were instantly in tears when they saw this sentence. They used to like Zhuiqian so much, and they kept saying that they supported him. How many of them had actually stayed by his side? How many of them had truly supported him? How many of them had been jealous of Chu Xiong? How many of them had been disgusted by how well Zhuiqian had treated Chu Xiong? However, in the end, the one who had stayed by Zhuiqian's side and helped him a lot was Chu Xiong. Zhuiqian had not given them a chance to treat him well. Chu Xiong had also walked step by step from a stranger to Zhuiqian's side. Why was she able to do it? It was because she was really strong and outstanding enough to attract Zhuiqian's attention. Chu Xiong was the legendary god of war. Many people thought that her sentence was just the beginning, and that she would definitely attack those who had questioned Zhuiqian. However, she did not do that. After posting this on Weibo, she returned to her hidden state. On the other hand, Geng Xian, Xiao Ran, and Xia Zhou all liked her Weibo to express their support. Some people thought that Chu Xiong might not have the passion to chase after celebrities. She was busy with her own career and did not care about Zhuiqian that much. She might have posted this because they were work partners. Some people thought that Geng Xian and the other two had a fake brotherly relationship with Zhuiqian. Other than 0 likes, they did not say a word. They also did not respond when they were interviewed outside. However, Chu Xiong and the 3 brothers all knew that these comments and doubts were a necessary part of Zhuiqian's career as a director. He was indeed a newcomer to directing. It would be a problem if he was praised everywhere. Now that everyone was an adult and not a child, who still needed to band together to fight against these kinds of doubts online. In the face of these kinds of doubts, only actual results could prove one's ability. Therefore, they all called to congratulate Zhuiqian on the success of his first movie and sent him gifts from their respective places of work. Zhuiqian was no longer disappointed by the comments online. He knew his own standards and knew how far he had walked on this path. He also knew that his results were not up to standard. What he needed to do now was to summarize his experience, find out his shortcomings, and correct them. His second movie would not be filmed so soon. He still needed time to learn his shortcomings. Coincidentally, there was a very challenging movie looking for him. It was about playing a schizophrenic patient. One person played 2 roles, one good and one evil. The script was indeed very good. He sent it to Chu Xiong for a look. After discussing it, he accepted the role of the male lead and went into seclusion to shoot the movie. No matter what happened online, other than appearing to promote the movie and the opening of the new movie, he disappeared again. Every day, there would be news about many popular fresh actors on the hot search list. Soon no one mentioned him. This year, Zhuiqian was very busy with filming. He also needed to devote himself to the new movie. Therefore, he did not hold a concert. Instead, he promised his fans that he would hold a grand concert after he was busy. The loyal fans who stayed behind were all Buddha. Anyway, Zhuiqian would definitely do what he promised. They were willing to wait. The fans of the rechargeable CP who only heard one sentence from Chu Xiong were also Buddha. Anyway, they firmly believed that the rechargeable CP would be able to wait. They were not anxious at all. The rechargeable CP would always be the only official and exclusive CP that was officially approved. Chu Xiong completed her work abroad smoothly. Because she made connections and found a new job, she stayed abroad for another month before returning. The movie that she was involved in was also finalized. It was scheduled to be released 3 months later during the summer vacation. After Chu Xiong returned to China, the first thing she did was to visit Zhuiqian on set. Firstly, Zhuiqian loved to laugh. Secondly, Zhuiqian was more silent because he happened to be filming 2 different roles. He had to act realistically and understand the inner world of a schizophrenic patient. He had to express everything perfectly. He had to be unable to control himself and pay attention to his true emotions so that they would not be affected too much. Chu Xiang understood the situation very well. After 2 visits, she did not go again. If she saw him now, it would only affect him. She had read the script of the movie. It was very well designed. If it was filmed well, it would definitely win a big award. She hoped that Zhuo Yichen would be able to perform well. With this free time, Chu Xiang started a new comic. She had already completed 2 comics before. They had sold all kinds of copyrights and were even made into cartoons. The number of views was very high. She was already a cartoonist in the comics industry and had a lot of fans. This time, when she started a new comic, a large number of fans immediately expressed their love for her and asked her to draw more. They were about to cry from waiting. After Chu Xiang became a fan, she understood the mentality of fans very well. Since she had time, she might as well start a large number of updates like she did when she was an author. The readers were so happy that they came up with different ways to confess to her. Empress Chu's crazy updates immediately attracted the attention of the fans. Empress Chu was not only a mangaka. She was also Zhuo Yichen's sister. Stars knew that Zhuo Yichen was filming a movie. Since he was filming a schizophrenic patient, it was definitely not easy to film. However, Chu Xiang had returned to the country and had time to update a lot. Why didn't she go to the set to accompany Zhuo Yichen? Someone commented on Chu Xiang's Weibo and asked her. Chu Xiang's fans replied. She went to the set to take care of him. Some people were jealous. If she didn't go, they would think that their relationship wasn't good and that Zhuo Yichen was suffering alone. Should Xiang go or not? But no matter what the answer is, no one cares. My Xiang does whatever she wants and only depends on her own decision. There were also passers-by. Chu Xiang is not an ordinary fan, okay? She is an idol of countless people. Isn't it too weird to judge her by the standards of fans? She and Zhuo Yichen are in the same circle, okay? They are classmates and friends. How can outsiders know about their relationship? It's just like how some people always say that the 4 boys don't have a good relationship. I think the 4 brothers are as close as real brothers. I think we should cut off the relationship between Chu Xiang and Zhuo Yichen. If it wasn't for this relationship in the beginning, why would there be so much trouble? How many times have Zhuo Yichen's fans scolded Chu Xiang? But how many times has Chu Xiang helped Zhuo Yichen? That's how ungrateful people are. The above said that Chu Xiang and Zhuo Yichen have always been on good terms. Even if they haven't been together for more than a year, their past relationship is real. There's no need for the 2 fans to quarrel. The CP fans are trembling. It doesn't matter if there are no sweets, but please don't throw knives. However, I believe that they can wait. They are no longer fans and idols. There are so many overlapping areas in their lives. Why do they have to get along like ordinary idols and fans? No matter how Zhuo Yichen is, he's no longer an idol, okay? Chu Xiang doesn't want to be a fan anymore. Everyone calm down. Don't make wild guesses. We'll wait for them to be together. I'm afraid you won't be able to wait for them to be together. Stop dreaming. Chu Xiang and Zhuo Yichen hadn't been together for a long time, so the fans were speculating. However, because the number of fans had decreased, they didn't go out of the industry. Only those who paid special attention to them knew that outsiders didn't know that such a thing had happened. However, this lack of popularity was a good thing for Chu Xiang and Zhuo Yichen. As long as people paid attention to their work, it was fine. Their private relationship didn't need to be shown all the time. Zhuo Yichen filmed the movie until the summer break. Chu Xiang drove to pick him up and asked with a smile, "How is it? Are there any sequelae?" Zhuo Yichen stretched in the passenger seat and turned to look at her with a smile. "Yes, I've learned how to switch between a puppy and a wolf dog perfectly." "Really? Then why don't you switch?" "No, I'll switch when it's time." "Where are we going?" Yichen joked. "It wasn't easy for me to escape from the sea of bitterness. Shouldn't you take me to enjoy the wonderful life of the human world? Chu Xiang drove the car and gestured at the glove box with her chin. Zhuo Chen opened it and saw 2 plane tickets inside. Zhuo Chen was surprised. We're going overseas to have fun. No. Chu Xiang laughed. How do you know that we're not going overseas to work? You just want to have fun. Zhuo Chen fiddled with the plane tickets and laughed. You promised to accompany me overseas to have fun. I'm also one of the bosses of the studio. I didn't hear about any work recently. He leaned back in the seat and tilted his head to look at her. Quick, where are we going to have fun? I'm not telling you. I'll kidnap you and sell you. Zhuo Chen looked at her side profile and said softly, Forget it. I'll go wherever you take me. Chu Xiang's lips curled into a smile. She was completely relieved. Her friend wasn't affected by the movie at all. He wasn't too immersed in the movie and couldn't get out of it. She had let go of him and let him grow up on his own. He had really grown up exceptionally well. It should be because he was such a person that she liked him. Chu Xiang didn't take him overseas just to have fun. She also brought him to attend the premiere of the movie she produced and introduced him to a few friends. Networking in the entertainment industry was very important. It was also very important to open up the international market. This time they were going overseas to take this step smoothly. Some photos of the movie premiere were leaked. The overseas fans saw Chu Xiang and Zhuo Chen watching the movie and immediately sent the photos back to China excitedly. In the photos, the 2 of them sat in the audience and smiled at each other. The couple's CP was immediately excited. The 2 of them were finally in the same frame. They were as sweet as ever. Xing Chen and Chu Xiang's fans were also very emotional. The 2 of them had been in hiding for too long. They didn't expect to see their photos in such a way. Zhuo Chen had just finished filming and immediately went overseas with Chu Xiang to attend the premiere. The 2 of them were as close as ever. Soon after, some sharp-eyed fans discovered something interesting. Someone uploaded a video on an overseas video website. He saw that the 2 Asians were very good-looking and took the video. The person in the video was Chu Xiang and Zhuo Chen. The 2 of them were dressed in casual clothes and dancing with the many dancers on the streets at night. They were especially happy. If there were people at the premiere who thought that they were colleagues who supported each other, this video would definitely show that they were very close. Everyone even saw Zhuo Chen dancing and knew that he hadn't danced in a long time. It was too difficult to watch such a performance. Another highlight of the video was that Chu Xiang's dancing was too good. Previously, Chu Xiang and Zhuo Chen's duet in the variety show was very good. Her dancing on the streets was also very good. Her fans suddenly started spamming. Zhuo Chen, hurry up and hold a concert. Let Xiang be a guest. I want to see it, I want to see it. The video of the 2 of them dancing actually made it to the hot search list. This was like giving the couple a big dose of sugar, giving them a shot in the arm, as if telling them that it was not wrong to keep waiting. Geng Xian called Zhuo Chen and complained, Bro, you're really something. You left the industry so early, but in the end, there are rumors about you everywhere. The 2 of you are simply having fun overseas, but your fans can still find out about you and make it to the trending topic. You're amazing. Zhuo Chen joked. What can I do? You can't be envious of this kind of thing. Don't be jealous. Do your job well. Geng Xian chuckled. Why would I be jealous? Whenever I think of someone who has been secretly in love for many years but doesn't dare to confess, I just want to laugh out loud, okay? I don't feel envious or jealous at all. I even made a bet with Xia Zhou and Xiao Ran. We bet on when you'll say goodbye to being single. Hey, what do you mean I don't dare to do it? That's because I made arrangements, okay? I'm not as impulsive as all of you. What arrangements? You're just afraid of being rejected. Zhuo Chen laughed. You're stupid. You still don't believe me. Do you feel the difference between us now? Since you're still an idol, do you dare to go public with your relationship now? Geng Xian chuckled again. I don't dare. I can't compare to you, boss. If I go public with my relationship, I'll probably lose my job. Boss, please take me with you. Really, expand your studio and sign all three of us. We'll have meat to eat if we follow you, boss. Don't leave us with scraps. Zhuo Yichen laughed. Put away your thoughts. Don't even think about my Xiang Xiang. She's too busy to care about you guys. Captain brother, don't you think you're too heartless? Have you forgotten how Lianchu took care of the three of us? Zhuo Yichen hurriedly interrupted him. I'm getting goosebumps. Wait for me to go back and talk about the collaboration. I'm going out to have a candlelight dinner with Xiang Xiang now. Go have fun by yourself. Hello. Gang Xian looked at his phone and shook his head. He laughed and said, You're forgetting your friends when you're in love. After you go public with your relationship, I'll definitely expose you. Chu Xiang and Zhuo Yichen traveled abroad for half a month and had a good time to relax. Traveling was good for both the body and the mind. After traveling for half a month, the tiredness of being busy for an entire year had disappeared. They were full of energy and felt like they could fight for another year. The two of them also had new inspirations during this trip. Sometimes they would discuss problems together and visit well-known scholars in the industry to ask for guidance. They also learned about different cultures and different film and television performance methods. This gave them a new understanding of their own profession, and some difficult problems were easily solved. After returning to China, Chu Xiang immediately started a new comic, while Zhuo Yichen immediately started preparing for his second movie. The international blockbuster that Chu Xiang co-produced was released and received very good reviews from the audience. When Chu Xiang's name appeared in the editing team, Chu Xiang's fans were overjoyed. Although Chu Xiang had disappeared again, she was updating her comic every day, so they could enjoy reading it. Zhuo Yichen had completely disappeared. His movie had not been released yet, and the movie he directed had not been nominated for any awards. Chu Xiang had been working abroad for the past year, so the two of them did not attend the awards ceremony at the end of the year. This made the couple's fans who were used to the award ceremony and the new year very disappointed. The second movie that Zhuo Yichen directed was a budget movie that aimed to win awards. He began his busy days again. However, this time filming went very smoothly. He quickly solved many of the problems that he encountered last time and did the best he could in all the areas where he had not done well last time. Chu Xiang often visited him on set and sat next to him to watch the actors filming. He was very focused when he was working. After all, the movie was to be shown to everyone. He did not dare to neglect anything and rarely spoke to Chu Xiang. However, when he was resting, he could immediately relax. This was because Chu Xiang was by his side, so he did not feel tired at all. This time, filming lasted for 3 months. During the post-production, Chu Xiang accepted another overseas job and went abroad. At the same time, Zhuo Yichen also received an invitation to act in an international movie. They wanted him to act in an Asian role in the movie and show the powerful skills of an Asian. As soon as he finished his work here, he rushed abroad without stopping. Since the two of them had gone abroad, there was even less news about them. They were even more mysterious than if they had disappeared. The fans of the two families and the couple's fans actually had the same wish. No matter what they did, as long as they showed up. They missed the times when they filmed variety shows together, the times when they attended award ceremonies together, and the times when they fought through all the dark days together. They really did not care what they did, as long as they showed up for business. Fortunately, while the two of them were busy, Chu Xiang's new work was filmed into an animation and screened. At the same time, Zhuo Yichen's movie about a schizophrenic was also screened. Both of their works received good reviews. It was unprecedented for a domestic animation to be so popular. Chu Xiang was truly the #1 person in the animation industry. Zhuo Yichen's new movie was an absolute explosion of acting skills. It could no longer be described with the word explosion. It was really amazing. The audience who watched it wondered if he was a twin. He played the two personalities too well. When the antagonist appeared, some scenes made the audience feel a chill down their spine. They could feel the horror of this character. On the other hand, when the antagonist appeared, the audience would feel warm, as if he was the warm sun. Zhuo Yichen's acting skills were truly breathtaking for him to be able to play both roles at the same time. The movie's box office sales were very high. Zhuo Yichen's ability was once again proven, and his popularity spread again. No one dared to question his acting skills anymore. Now, everyone was only concerned about the second movie he directed. It was going to be broadcast soon. If this director's second movie was not good, would it mean that Zhuo Yichen was only suitable for acting and not directing? Hashtag Zhuo Yichen's new drama hashtag inexplicably became a trending topic. Suddenly, it became everyone's most anticipated drama, just like how people paid attention to his college entrance examination scores back then. It was the center of attention. Chapter 122. Before Zhuo Yichen's second movie was released, a large group of former anti-fans had gathered together and prepared brainwashing kits in the group. They were prepared to give his second movie a score of 1 and criticize it wantonly. The last time his first movie was released, this method was very successful. Some stars even suspected that Zhuo Yichen was not suitable to be a director. This time, if they did it again, Zhuo Yichen might not want to be a director anymore. Anti-fans were strange creatures. They did not live a good life, so they liked to criticize and gossip on the internet. They found an inexplicable sense of superiority from it. It was as if by giving a bad review and criticizing other people's work, they could show off how outstanding they were. However, there were also such bored people who planned to cause trouble before the movie was released. They were excitedly counting the time. When Zhuo Yichen's movie was released, the first box office was not high. The anti-fans' crazy comments made his movie's box office drop to 4.6 points. However, there were many reviews that appeared. They were all from well-known film critics. Their words were pertinent and pointed out some shortcomings. However, most of them were praises. Zhuo Yichen's movie took place in a villa. There was an invisible tension in the atmosphere. The various subtle interactions between the characters in the villa were filmed very well by Zhuo Yichen. The scenes were also very comfortable. The most commendable thing was that there were scenes in the movie that made people laugh uncontrollably. There were also moments that made people cry uncontrollably. It was very difficult to embellish layers of rich emotions. However, Zhuo Yichen did it. His movie was really much better than his first movie. It was twice as good. It was as if he had opened up his conception and governor vessels. He found all his problems during his first time as a director. After correcting them, he came up with an especially good movie. Just like his grades in the first semester of university, he became the first in his major in the second semester. He could always bring surprises like this to everyone and let everyone see the results of his hard work. Other than these reasons, this movie was praised by so many film critics because the concept of the movie was very good. After watching it, people could reflect on some things. However, there were no scenes in the movie where people were forced to drink chicken soup. Instead, it was silently moisturizing. It unknowingly put people in the shoes of the good actor and followed his train of thought. It was too stunning. Almost all the film critics gave the same evaluation. For people who loved watching movies, the reviews of famous movie critics were obviously more credible than those of haters. Many people began to buy movie tickets to watch Zhuo Yichen's movie. Even though there were a lot of fans in Xingchen who did not pay attention to Zhuo Yichen's activities at the beginning, when they found out that Zhuo Yichen's movie was released, they all bought tickets to support it. Although they were no longer fans, it was just that they no longer chased after celebrities or popular fresh meat. However, they still had to support them. They still liked Zhuo Yichen. Even if they couldn't advertise it, they could at least provide them with purchasing power. This was probably the best way to become a fan. It probably couldn't be considered as a real loss of fans because everyone was still around. It was just that they had disappeared along with Zhuo Yichen. Most of the stars went to the cinema to support Zhuo Yichen, but they were completely stunned by the movie. Only then did they realize that those film critics were not exaggerating. If they were the ones praising, they would have gone even further. After watching the movie with laughter and tears, the biggest feeling that stars felt was pride. They were too proud. They were just as proud as when Zhuo Yichen won the Best Actor award. He was really outstanding. His second movie had improved so much compared to his first. As a new star, he had already produced such a good movie. If they didn't brag about such achievements, they would be letting down their fans of Zhuo Yichen for so many years. This time, without Chu Xiong's lead, stars and the so-called ex-fans spontaneously started to post movie tickets and write movie reviews. It was a grand occasion for movie reviews during the Year of Curtain. Even those motherly fans who had disappointed Zhuo Yichen and left Zhuo Yichen's fandom were posting movie reviews and praising Zhuo Yichen. Their son had grown up so well. How could they let those haters bully him? It had been a few years since Zhuo Yichen had a popular celebrity. However, this time, the netizens once again witnessed stars purchasing power and popularity. In fact, those who praised Zhuo Yichen were no longer just his star's fans. There were many passers-by who didn't chase after celebrities, but liked Zhuo Yichen's movies. They had a good impression of him and spontaneously spoke up for him. This was the flow of people. Who could say that the people weren't stars? Wasn't there substantial support for Zhuo Yichen's stars? As long as Zhuo Yichen was outstanding enough, stars would be everywhere. They were just like the stars in the sky. They were quiet and silent, but they gave Zhuo Yichen the greatest support. The influence of the haters had long been offset. More and more people went to watch Zhuo Yichen's movies and generously gave good reviews. He only used 30 million yuan to shoot the movie, and the final box office was 2.6 billion yuan. The ratings were as high as 9. It broke the record of return on investment in the history of Antelope films. This was a result that even Zhuo Yichen did not expect. No one in the industry expected it. Zhuo Yichen had really shot the movie with such a theme for the sake of getting an award. He had put in a lot of effort and did not have high expectations for the box office. However, perhaps in the process of learning and summing up his experience, he had unknowingly combined the commercial aspect of the movie with the content of the movie. Or perhaps he had really put in the effort to express the most moving story. In the end, he succeeded. Now he had a new title, Director Zhuo Yichen. This impression was engraved in everyone's minds. Many people did not know how he debuted or how he became famous, but everyone knew that he was the director, Zhuo Yichen. He was the director, Zhuo Yichen, whose acting skills were enough to win the Best Actor award. After the movie, someone interviewed him and asked him how he became so successful. Zhuo Yichen smiled and said, "It's just charging up." The couple fans who had charged up immediately became active. They knew that nothing had changed. They were still charging up. Their persistence had never been wrong. Some people were curious as to why Chu Xiong did not post any movie reviews or support on Weibo this time. Instead, she was unusually quiet. During the interview, someone also asked this question. Zhuo Yichen smiled and smiled beautifully. It's probably because the moment she makes a statement, her popularity will be too high. She knows that I really want to see the results of my hard work, so she won't let me ride on her popularity. Zhuo Yichen laughed twice. It was obvious that he was joking, but what he said was actually the truth. Just like when they first met, Chu Xiong would always post pictures of him smiling at the airport because she was afraid that people would use his expressionless face to attack him for acting like a big shot. It was the same this time. Chu Xiong did not say anything because she did not want people to think that she was protecting him. She wanted everyone to see that he did not need a war god. He was his own hero, and this was the best protection for him. That night, Chu Xiong posted a picture of Zhuo Yichen's growth and evolution. From the cute and shy young man to the charming king of the stage, to the energetic outdoor game king, to the warm and mature homestay brother, to the serious conservative veteran, to the dazzling new movie king, and finally to the steady and confident director. Every portrait perfectly presented a certain stage of Zhuo Yichen's growth. Lined up from left to right, it was as if one could see the entire process of Zhuo Yichen's growth. Above his head, there was a dazzling sky full of stars. Companionship was the longest confession of love. Chu Xiong did not say a word, but this picture seemed to show everything. Zhuoyichen reposted her Weibo post and posted 9 pictures. The first picture was of her carrying a telephoto camera at the top of the ice tower when they were filming winter vacation travels. The second picture was of her holding a pen and paper and seriously explaining questions to him during a video call. The third picture was of her giving him afternoon tea on the set of Fleeting Time. The fourth picture was of them discussing matters on the set of the school's anniversary drama. The fifth picture was of them hugging each other at the award ceremony. The sixth picture was of Chu Xiong working in the studio. The seventh picture was of Chu Xiong taking his graduation photo. The eighth picture was of them dancing to their heart's content overseas. The last photo was of Chu Xiong accompanying him on the set as he directed the scene. He only wrote one sentence on his Weibo. Zhuoyichen, thank you for always being here. Both of them did not use many words to express their feelings, but they conveyed a lot of happiness. The first person to repost their Weibo post was the girl who had voted for Chu Xiong. Her Weibo username was Zhuoyichen's Fangirl 717. She posted a few crying emoticons. How lucky am I? I actually witnessed their beginning. There were many people who witnessed Chu Xiong's first Weibo post. They still remembered that Chu Xiong had drawn a cartoon of Zhuoyichen at the Spring Festival Gala. It was very beautiful. She had even taken a picture of Zhuoyichen looking at her during the Spring Festival Gala. It was very charming. They had seen Chu Xiong draw comic stories for Zhuoyichen and maintain the popularity of Zhuoyichen when he was in seclusion. They had seen Chu Xiong tear apart Zhuoyichen's childhood and clear the obstacles for Zhuoyichen. They had seen many large-scale anti-fans attack, and it was always Chu Xiong who led Constellation to turn the crisis into publicity. They had seen Chu Xiong always by Zhuoyichen's side no matter how bad the situation was. They had also seen Zhuoyichen send a lawyer's letter when Chu Xiong was in danger. They had seen Zhuoyichen follow Chu Xiong on his main account and write a TO sign for her. They had seen Zhuoyichen walk the red carpet arm in arm with her because he was afraid that the host would ignore Chu Xiong. They had seen Zhuoyichen excitedly hug Chu Xiong to congratulate her for winning an award. They had seen Zhuoyichen confidently say, "This person can definitely do it," on a variety show. They had seen Zhuoyichen's image of an old cadre collapsing in front of Chu Xiong in a second. They had also seen many things. They were all marks left behind by Chu Xiong and Zhuoyichen. When Chu Xiong was mentioned, Zhuoyichen had to be mentioned. When Zhuoyichen was mentioned, Chu Xiong had to be mentioned. Their names had long been engraved in Peter's life. They were so bright and dazzling that they could not be ignored. Many netizens who liked to surf the internet had personally seen them in various stages of the trending searches over the past few years. They knew of each of their achievements that they were proud of. They understood that there was a kind of relationship in this world called Chu Xiong and Zhuoyichen. Many people shed tears as they watched. Some people did not even know why they were crying. They just felt a kind of bloated feeling in their hearts. It was like they were touched but also not like they were touched. It was more like they had seen with their own eyes that they were still holding hands despite the trials and hardships. It turned out that they had always been so good. Their relationship was deeper than anyone had thought. It was really good. Many people began to flood the internet, hoping that Chu Xiong and Zhuoyichen would be together. For them, it seemed that there was no one else who was better and more compatible with them. Only when they were together would they be happy. However, Chu Xiong and Zhuoyichen did not appear in public again. While the internet was abuzz with discussion, they took a plane together to finish their unfinished work overseas. On the plane, Chu Xiong flipped through the photos that Zhuoyichen had posted. She had already saved them on her phone, but she still felt that it was very strange. "When did you take these? You actually secretly took photos of me for so many years." Zhuoyichen was sitting next to her. He closed his eyes and smiled. "Since you took photos of me, it's only fair that I take photos of you, right? What do you think? Don't I look good in the photos? You took a photo that shows 1/10 of my beauty." Chu Xiong grabbed her phone and touched his arm. "You must have taken other photos. Give me your phone. No. Zhuo-Chen immediately opened his eyes and pressed on his jeans pocket vigilantly. What are you trying to do? You can't look at my secrets. Chu Xiang did not fight back. She rested her chin on the armrest and said slowly, Someone seems to be asking my assistant about the guy who treated me to dinner last time. Who is he? Who have I been hanging out with while I was overseas? Are there any handsome guys that I'm close to? Zhuo-Chen glanced at her phone and asked hesitantly, What do you mean? Chu Xiang placed her phone on the armrest and tapped on it lightly with her fingertips. If you give me your phone, we can switch to looking at your messages. We can look at anything. Zhuo-Chen looked at her suspiciously. Really? We can look at anything. We can even look at our chat history. Of course. Can't you? Course I can too. This temptation was too great. Zhuo-Chen could not hold back his curiosity. He thought that his folder had a password anyway, so he took out his phone from his pocket and placed it in Chu Xiang's hand. The two of them took each other's phones and looked at each other. They both smiled and turned to look at their phones. Chu Xiang's phone had many photos, videos, and comics of Zhuo-Chen. He was practically everywhere. He was the one with the most in her chat history, followed by Professor Lin and his mother. The rest of the chat history was about work. She did not chat about personal matters, just like Zhuo-Chen. Zhuo-Chen looked at her phone and could not suppress his smile. He was very happy that he did not have a love rival. He glanced at Chu Xiang's phone and his face instantly turned red. Oh my, how did you guess the password? Zhuo-Chen reached out to snatch the phone. Chu Xiang had her back facing him and hid the phone in front of her. She turned her head to look at him. He was originally hugging Chu Xiang from behind. When she turned her head, the distance between them was less than 5 centimeters. Zhuo-Chen hurriedly retreated. His face instantly turned even redder. Chu Xiang chuckled. She turned around and waved the phone in her hand. She said proudly, Isn't it easy to guess the password? Birthdays, anniversaries, special occasions. I only needed to try 3 times to solve it. It's the date of the Lantern Festival party when we first met. Zhuo-Chen reached out and pulled her sleeve. Give it to me. Don't look at it. Can't. Chu Xiang signaled with her eyes that they had already exchanged phones. He had looked at hers, so she had to look at his too. Zhuo-Chen wailed. He lay down and covered his face with the blanket. Chu Xiang heard his muffled voice. I'm too ashamed to face anyone. Chu Xiang opened the folder labeled Companions. She was surprised to find that it was filled with things related to her. There were photos of her, videos of her, cartoons that she had drawn for him, photos of them photoshopped by their fans, sweet videos edited by their fans, and screenshots of her posts on Weibo. There were so many things. He looked like an idiot. Zhuo-Chen was still fidgeting under the blanket. He said softly, Oh. Okay, stop looking. Sister. Chu Xiang took out her SLR camera and aimed it at Zhuo-Chen. She yanked the blanket off him and snapped many photos. Zhuo-Chen covered his face shyly as he got up and laughed. Sister, you're a little too much. Chu Xiang waved the phone in her hand. She raised her eyebrows and laughed. Brother, you're even worse. Zhuo-Chen quickly snatched the phone back and stuffed it into his pocket. He said in annoyance, Why do I lose my IQ every time I see you? Can you give me back my IQ? If you don't, you'll have to charge me interest. What's interest? The interest is that you have to sing and dance for me after we get off the plane. That's a little high. Chu Xiang held up her camera and laughed. To be fair, I'm going to exercise my authority as a sister. Hurry up and sit down. I'm going to take photos. Zhuo-Chen smiled and struck many poses. He allowed Chu Xiang to take photos of him. He played for half an hour, and the fatigue from the flight disappeared. Chu Xiang not only took photos of him on the plane, but she also took photos of him after they got off the plane. She took photos of him when he visited her at work, when he ate, and when he was at the front line. The only difference was that Zhuo Chen obediently sat there and let her take photos. He even took photos of her with the camera. This time, the two of them went into seclusion and did not disappear without a trace. Chu Xiang started to update her Weibo every weekend. Sometimes it was a 9-grid photo of Zhuo Chen. Sometimes it was a short video. Sometimes it was a series of comics. She recorded Zhuo Chen's life abroad on her Weibo without exposing the situation of the film crew. The fans of the couple were now the most energetic group among all of their fans. They always grabbed the most popular comments. They repeatedly proved that Zhuo Chen was the most lively in Chu Xiang's camera. He would laugh happily, learn to dance like a chunibu, tell stories humorously, and eat without caring about his image. The old cadre never existed in front of Chu Xiang. It had been a few years, and everyone finally saw the lively Zhuo Chen again. However, he only acted this way in front of Chu Xiang's camera. The couple's fans cried out, "How sweet!" and begged them to be together quickly. Many passers-by who were not their fans also felt that they were very sweet and occasionally left comments saying that they were a good match. The stars wanted to struggle, but if it weren't for Chu Xiang, they wouldn't have been able to see Zhuo Chen even if they wanted to. They wouldn't even have been able to see it. After such a long time, they couldn't be jealous anymore. They only hoped that Chu Xiang would be the best Weibo sister and constantly send Zhuo Chen's updates to them. After a few months of peace and joy, Zhuo Chen's fans finally welcomed a piece of good news in the winter of that year. After 3 years of absence from the stage, Zhuo Chen was finally going to hold a concert. Moreover, it was a concert that cost more than 100,000 people. Everyone still remembered how charming Zhuo Chen was on stage. His fans were almost desperate. They almost thought that after becoming a successful director, Zhuo Chen would never sing or dance again. However, he actually started to prepare for a concert after finishing his work. He really remembered every promise he made to his fans and kept them in his heart. After the studio announced the guest list for the concert, all the fans were overjoyed. The special guests were Geng Xian, Xiao Ran, Xia Zhou, and Chu Xiang. Zhuo Chen's 3 best friends and the most important woman by his side were all there. Chu Xiang and Zhuo Chen started to train as soon as they returned to China. They spent every day in the practice room. Chu Xiang only had one song to sing with Zhuo Chen. It was a new song that Zhuo Chen wrote, so she only needed to practice on stage. Zhuo Chen had to practice a lot of singing, dancing, playing musical instruments, and walking on stage. Every step was very tiring, but he didn't feel tired at all. In the beginning, he debuted because he liked to sing. Even though he found his true dream later on, the stage was still his favorite place. It was a place where he could get high and release himself to his heart's content. He had been busy with filming and directing, so he hadn't held a concert in 3 years. This concert was very important to him in many ways, so he prepared very seriously and was very happy. While the fans were waiting for the concert, they first welcomed the most important award ceremony of the year. Zhuo Chen's schizophrenic character was nominated for Best Actor. The second highest grossing movie he directed was nominated for Best Director. Chu Xiang's movie was also nominated for Best Editing. Therefore, after a few years, they finally sat in the same car and walked the red carpet together again. The couple's fans were waiting excitedly for them to give out their love. However, this time, Zhuo Chen seemed a little nervous and didn't say much, which was in line with his image as a veteran. Even when the two of them sat down to wait for the award, Zhuo Chen didn't say much. Chu Xiang whispered to him, "What's wrong? Why are you nervous after winning so many awards?" Zhuo Chen looked at her and smiled. "It's different this time." Chu Xiang persuaded him. "What's different?" Down. "You'll have many movies to direct in the future. Don't worry about the awards." Zhuo Chen shook his head. "I made this movie for the awards. It's been too long. I don't want to wait any longer." Chu Xiang sat beside Zhuo Chen. She could feel that he was really looking forward to the Best Director award. When the guest announced his name, his eyes lit up and he completely relaxed. He was the first to hug Chu Xiong happily and whispered in her ear, "I did it. Yes, you're the best." The last time Chu Xianglin had received an award, she had smiled and patted him on the back as she watched him walk up to the podium. Not only did he win the Best Director award, but Zhuai Chen also won the Best Actor award. Logically speaking, these two awards shouldn't have been given to the same person, but to two different crews. However, Zhuai Chen's performance this time was too outstanding. It wouldn't be fair to not give him the award. In the end, he was still given this big honor and highlighted the outstanding young filmmakers in the country. Zhuai Chen had a bright future ahead of him. Chu Xiong also won the Best Editing award again. She didn't know how many Best Editing awards she had won. Sure enough, their studio was the biggest winner of this award ceremony. Chu Xiong's fans, Zhuai Chen's fans, fans who wanted to charge the movie, and many other passers-by were overjoyed to see the two of them win awards together. The road of life was long. How many people could walk hand in hand down the road together? It was really rare to be able to walk side by side and win glory together. Their relationship was legendary. Who else could be more compatible than them? Everyone was looking forward to the two of them on stage. This was Chu Xiong's first performance on stage, and it was said that the two of them would sing together. The couple's fans were fighting for tickets with all their might. Xing Chan and Chu Xiong's fans were also not willing to fall behind. Even Geng Xian's Sanrao fans were fighting for tickets. There were also many passers-by fans. Usually they were passers-by, but when it came to the concert, they all became rivals of the true fans and joined in the fight for tickets. The tickets for the 100,000 Rao concert were all sold out within a minute. This kind of grand occasion attracted even more attention. What kind of godly concert could attract so many people to fight for tickets? Countless people who liked Zhuai Chen because of his movies locked onto the live streaming platform and were waiting to see his exciting performance on stage. This time, the concert started with the popular song that everyone was familiar with. Zhuai Chen broke away from the steady and mature style he had been portraying for the past few years. On the stage, he displayed his charm to his heart's content. Every look and every action he made caused the fans to scream. He was still the same Zhuai Chen who was so excited that he blew up the audience. He was still the omnipotent idol. He had not changed at all. However, many people still noticed that there was something different about him. He seemed to be especially happy and excited. His emotions were always in a state of excitement. Fans thought that he was so excited because he finally stood on stage again after not holding a concert for 3 years. Until he changed into a suit and gently sang a love song like Prince Charming. He looked at Chu Xiong, who was slowly rising from the stage, and revealed a beautiful smile. Everyone then realized that his excitement was probably for this moment. This was the moment when he stood on stage with her. The love song was a song that Zhuai Chen had polished for 3 years. The lyrics and melody were all written by him alone. Every line of the couple's lyrics was like the words that they had said to each other over the years. From strangers to acquaintances, from the first awakening of love to deep love, at every stage and every time they grew, they witnessed each other and walked hand in hand. Zhuai Chen's voice was gentle and warm. Chu Xiong's voice was beautiful and pleasant. The perfect combination of the two voices was an auditory feast. The Prince Charming Zhuai Chen and the beautiful Chu Xiong held hands and sang together. They looked at each other and smiled. This was the most beautiful scene on stage. None of the fans were willing to make a sound or disturb this dreamy scene. Some of the couple's fans were already crying because this song and this scene made everything clear. They had not waited in vain. They had finally waited. After the song, Chu Xiong was about to leave the stage. Zhuai Chen did not let go of her hand. Chu Xiong looked over in confusion and saw Zhuai Chen looking at her a little nervously. He held the microphone and took a deep breath. He said seriously, Xiong, we have known each other for 8 years. In these 8 years, I have grown from an ignorant and inexperienced teenager to a man that can be relied on. My memories are filled with your figure. I don't know when it started, but my mind is filled with your figure as well. The screen started to play all the edited videos of the two of them over the years. All the images of them in the same frame, whether public or private, avoiding suspicion or intimate, from looking at each other from afar to laughing happily, were taken by Chu Xiong and by him for Chu Xiong. Every frame was a shared memory of the two of them. It was an exclusive sweetness that the fans had never seen before. The fans screamed and held their breaths as they stared at the stage. They were afraid that they would interrupt Zhuo-Yichen's confession. Zhuo-Yichen held Chu Xiong's hand tightly. I feel that the two of us are destined to meet at the right time. Perhaps you would not have become my fan if you had seen me earlier or later, and I would not have noticed your uniqueness if I had seen you earlier or later. Therefore, I am especially thankful for the Spring Festival Gala 8 years ago. I am thankful that you were able to watch the Spring Festival Gala that year. I am thankful that I happened to be the person you liked that year. Chu Xiong looked at her boy and her heart softened. She said gently, I am also very thankful for the Spring Festival Gala that year. It gave me a different life. Meeting you was the best thing that happened in my life. Zhuo-Yichen smiled and made a gesture. Geng Xian, Xiao Ran and Xia Zhou walked onto the stage together and stood behind Zhuo-Yichen. Geng Xian was holding an exquisite rectangular box in his hands. Zhuo-Yichen took out the Best Director Award trophy from the box and solemnly handed it to Chu Xiong. It has been my lifelong dream to be a good director. This is my first Best Director Award trophy and it means a lot to me. The concert stage was my first dream. The stage is my favorite place. Now I'm on my favorite stage. I'm giving you my most important trophy. And I'm also giving you my most sincere feelings. Xiang, we have been together for 8 years. Are you still willing to continue walking with me in the future? Chu Xiong had been thinking about how he would confess, but she did not expect him to be such a ritualistic person. He was confessing with the most important trophy on his favorite stage. No wonder he did not want to wait any longer at the award ceremony. She took the trophy, looked into his eyes and answered, I do. At that moment, she saw the fireworks and bright stars in his eyes. It was as if her words had lit up his entire future. Zhuo-Yichen picked her up and happily spun her around a few times. He put her on the ground and affectionately planted a kiss on her forehead. They were together. They were really together. The couple's fans burst into tears. It was the joy of finally being able to talk to each other. They could not help but cry. They were happier than if they had succeeded in confessing. All the fans in the audience were elated. They were all shouting excitedly. Then, someone started to shout in unison, Together for a lifetime! Together for a lifetime! Zhuo-Yichen and Chu Xiong held hands and bowed to the fans. Chu Xiong held the trophy while Zhuo-Yichen picked up the microphone and said emotionally, Thank you. I have imagined countless scenes of a public relationship, but none of them are better than this. Thank you. I am really grateful to you. We will always support you. We will support the couple. The fans waved their light sticks at the same time and gave them the most beautiful starlight. This concert was undoubtedly unprecedentedly popular. Whether it was the atmosphere at the venue or the number of views of the live broadcast, it broke all the concert records. Zhuo-Yichen confessed in front of hundreds of millions of fans. This high-profile relationship finally blossomed and they took over the trending searches. After the concert, Zhuo-Yichen immediately posted a photo of the two of them. In the photo, Chu Xiong was holding the heavy trophy. He hugged Chu Xiong from behind and rested his chin on Chu Xiong's shoulder. The two of them smiled very sweetly. Chu Xiong also posted a photo of her and Zhuo-Yichen leaning against the window and making a heart. The night sky outside the window was full of stars. The couple was finally officially announced and immediately received a lot of blessings. Zhuo-Yichen's 3 brothers were also present. As the eldest brother, Xiao Ran was the first to post blessings on Weibo and attached a video with the caption, Don't thank me. This is the most beautiful meeting. Everything starts from a beautiful beginning. Zhuo-Yichen Zoixixiang. The video was actually recorded when they first met on the plane. Xiao Ran had unknowingly turned on his phone and recorded it. In the video, Chu Xiong was stroking Zhuo Chen's hair as if she was stroking a pet. "You're so silly. What if you get cheated? You have to protect yourself. I like people who are hardworking and diligent. Plus you're so cute." Zhuo Chen blushed and protested. "I'm not cute anymore, okay? I'm very handsome now." Chu Xiong held back her laughter and looked at him. "You're quite cute now. If you don't believe me, you can think about how you look like now in 2 years. You must be a fake fan. Change seats." Zhuo Chen yelled and stood up. However, just as Geng Xian was about to change seats, he hurriedly sat back down. "Even if you're a fake fan, you're still my fan. Turn around." Other than the few of them, no one knew about this scene. That was the first time they met face to face. At that time, Zhuo Chen was still young and innocent. It was the most beautiful meeting between them. Xiaozhou also posted a video to join in the fun. It was the part where Zhuo Chen was interviewed after the college entrance examination. Zhuo Chen said proudly, "I have a very good and strict personal teacher." When the host asked him to introduce the teacher, he said, "The teacher doesn't plan to tutor any more students." Then the three brothers all looked at him at the same time. Xiaozhou added a caption. "Do you know who this personal teacher is?" "That's right, the person who brought Zhuo Chen to King of Kings was my sister Xiang. It's a pity that I didn't check the questions that sister Xiang bet on. My score was 100 points lower than Zhuo Chen's." Geng Xian posted 18 photos. "You and I under the lemon tree. Who would have thought that the two of us would have such double standards?" The 18 photos were all comparisons between Zhuo Chen and Chu Xiong. All of them made Geng Xian jealous, but all of them were sweet scenes of PDA. The sweets that the CP fans used to eat were not even a tenth of their sweetness. San Rao's Weibo let everyone see how sweet the couple was in private. It also led to a wave of 8x lenses. Fans reflected that they didn't dig deep enough and began to look for sweet spots between the two of them over the years. Someone posted a behind-the-scenes clip of the school's anniversary drama, guessing that it was the beginning of a crush. At that time, Zhuo Chen clarified all the CP and started acting like an old cadre. However, he walked around the set and kept following Chu Xiong. Someone edited a compilation of the two of them in the same frame and analyzed from their eyes and expressions that they cared about Peter. There were also double standards compilation, mutual love compilation, hot searches compilation, similar clothing compilation, jealous king compilation, Zhuo Chen compilation, and so on. There was too much material between them, and any one of them would be infinitely sweet. Because they were really together, everything in the past had become the evidence of their love. Of course, Chu Xiong and Zhuo Chen, who were passionately in love, could only be sweeter than they imagined. The two of them gave themselves a vacation at the same time and traveled around the world together, leaving their sweet figures everywhere. Chu Xiong finally knew how her boy could perfectly switch between a puppy and a wolf. She could only say that with such a cute and wolf boyfriend by her side, every day was filled with happiness and sweetness. They would recharge together in the future, climb up in their respective fields together, and bring more surprises to everyone together. And they would hold Pitz's hand all the time, sweet and happy as they had been for so many years. Their story was still very long, and there was still a lot of fun to be had. As long as the two of them were together, everything would be the best. Chapter 123. Sister, sister, wake up. Sister, you can't let anything happen to you. What should I do? Help. Quick, save my sister. Chisi, calm down. Your sister, she's not breathing anymore. Your heart isn't good, so don't be agitated. Be good. No, mother, sister will be fine. When the boat reaches the shore, we can save her. Chu Xiong slowly opened her eyes, accompanied by the incessant chatter and cries. She used the spiritual power from her soul to force out the water in her stomach and suddenly coughed. Chu Xiong is alive. She's alive. Immediately, 4 or 5 people surrounded Chu Xiong and helped her up, smiling in surprise. Chu Xiang looked at the young girl beside her and met her stunned eyes. The young girl quickly reacted and reached out to hug her while crying and laughing. "Sister, you're fine. That's great. Really great. Let go." Chu Xiang pushed her away weakly, her tone extremely cold. The young girl looked like she had been bullied. The woman behind her, who was crying in joy, immediately frowned. Xiang, what are you saying? You don't know how anxious your sister was just now. She wanted to fall into the water for you. Why are you acting like this?" The few people who were supporting Chu Xiang also agreed. Chushi was the one who was in the most pain just now. Chu Xiang coughed a few more times and stood up shakily with her hands on the ground. Chushi stretched out her leg and deliberately tripped me into the water. "What?" After the woman was shocked, she was furious. "Chu Xiang, how can you say such things? How can you accuse your sister like this? You were the one who was playing and fell over the railing." Chu Xiang interrupted her. "Who told you that? Chushi. In other words, you believe Chushi and not me. The truth is that Chushi deliberately tripped me into the water. She was jealous that my body was better than hers, so she wanted me to die. It's a pity that there's no evidence. Otherwise, I would sue her for murder." "Sister, you're too much." The young girl choked out these words and then fainted. There were still traces of tears on her face. Everyone immediately supported her and looked at Chu Xiang with accusation. Chu Xiang didn't wait for them to speak and spoke first. "Whether you believe it or not, I don't have to wrongly accuse her. I don't have any evidence to sue her, but from now on, I won't acknowledge her as my sister." Chu Xiang glanced at the people on the deck, then turned around and walked into the cabin to return to her room. From afar, she could still hear the woman's exasperated curses. The original owner and Chushi were twins. When they were born, the original owner was very healthy, but Chushi's heart was stunted and her body was weaker. Therefore, the Chu family's parents and brother had always doted on Chushi. They would always ask the original owner to give in to Chushi for everything. Chushi was the one who had robbed her younger sister of her nutrients, causing her younger sister to suffer so much. The more such words were said, the more the whole family, including Chushi, became convinced that Chushi's sufferings were all caused by the original owner of the body. The difference in their attitudes towards the original owner and Chushi became more and more obvious. However, Chushi liked to be with her very much. Then, every time Chushi showed an aggrieved expression or bumped into something, the original owner would be reprimanded. The original owner grew up in such an environment, so her personality was naturally very sensitive. She wasn't as lovable as the soft and sweet Chushi, so her family's hearts were even more biased. Chushi seemed to know how to observe people's expressions and how to use her advantages to get what she wanted. Not only did she snatch away all the family ties that belonged to the original owner at home, she also snatched away all the friendships that belonged to the original owner at school. The two of them looked exactly the same, but the original owner didn't like to smile much and looked very cold. Chushi's voice was soft and she especially liked to smile. She also dressed like a princess, so naturally, she was more loved by everyone. Especially since Chushi's health wasn't good, it was easy to get everyone's sympathy when she appeared together with the original owner. It was a pity that her sister had robbed her of her nutrients. Every time this was mentioned, it was like stabbing a knife into the original owner's heart. However, when others saw that she was unhappy, they would think that she was being ridiculous. It was obviously her who had caused her younger sister to be like this, so she should love her younger sister even more. The original owner had specially cut her hair short and wore trousers all year round just to distinguish herself from Chushi. It was hard at home, hard at school, but she endured it all. Fortunately, when the college entrance examination finally came, she specially applied for medical school. Her only dream was to learn medical skills well and cure Chushi. In this life, they didn't owe each other anything, so she didn't have to bear these inexplicable accusations anymore. This trip out to sea was to celebrate the original owner and Chushi's graduation. It could be considered a graduation trip, and it was Chushi who had suggested it. Chushi's health wasn't good, so she couldn't study as hard as the original owner. Her grades were also not as good as the original owner's, so she only got into an ordinary school. The original owner was very glad that they had been deskmates in the same class since they were young. This time they could finally be separated, so she agreed to go out to sea to celebrate. She really wanted to celebrate. The Chu family was well off, so besides Mother Chu and the two sisters, they also invited 8 of their good friends on the rented cruise ship. To be exact, they were Chushi's good friends. Under Chushi's interference, the original owner didn't have the chance to make good friends. Then, the scene of the original owner of the body falling into the water and drowning happened. She really had been tripped by Chushi. When Chu Xiong saw her, her face was still full of shock and confusion, but it was as if she had finally been freed. When Chu Xiong proposed the deal, she even advised Chu Xiong that this body could only bring pain, and advised Chu Xiong not to take over such a life. However, the original owner was in so much pain because she was kidnapped by family and morals. Why would Chu Xiong, an outsider, care about these things? They still made the deal. The original owner forgot her past and was finally free, while Chu Xiong got her identity. Chu Xiong was very disgusted by people like Chushi. They didn't know how to make progress at their age, and their bellies were full of dark things. Killing her own sister was even more deranged. It was a pity that she didn't have any evidence, so this matter could only be left unsettled. Chu Xiong took a hot bath and ignored the occasional knocking at the door. She lay comfortably on the bed and used her spiritual energy to nourish her body. Fortunately, she could store a little more spiritual energy in her soul every time she lived. Otherwise, when she first arrived, she might not even be able to force out the water. She could only wait for the medical staff to arrive. Then, she would have missed the best opportunity to expose Chushi. Even if no one believed her words now, the truth was out in front of everyone. She had already expressed that she no longer recognized this sister, and when she went back, she could use this to break off relations with the Chu family. The matter was so big that even if the 8 good friends didn't believe it, they would still think about it and have some doubts. They wouldn't let Chushi quibble after the matter and splash dirty water on her. In a society ruled by law, she couldn't do anything, so she simply went her own way and didn't interact with each other. The cruise ship was already on its way back, and the paramedics were already waiting by the shore. A large group of them quickly arrived at the hospital. Of course, Mother Chu went to accompany Chushi. After all, Chushi had fainted because of Chu Xiong, and there was a problem with her heart. It was very critical. Anyway, Chu Xiong had already woken up, so how could she accuse others wrongly? Mother Chu didn't want to see her at all. Chu Xiong was alone in the ward, and it was quiet. She focused on absorbing the new spiritual energy, wanting to recuperate her body as soon as possible. A rather beautiful girl gently pushed open the door of the ward. Seeing that she was awake, she quickly walked in and smiled unnaturally. Chu Xiong, you're awake. How are you feeling? Is your body okay? This was their class monitor, Song Chi. Chu Xiong saw a few girls squeezed in and eavesdropping outside the door from the corner of her eye. She guessed that Song Chi was pushed out by them to find out more information. At the age of 18, it was the age where people loved to gossip. How could they not be curious when they saw such a miraculous scene? Plus, there was the conflict between sisters that almost killed someone. It was simply more exciting than a television drama. Chu Xiong nodded. I'm much better. Thank you for your concern. As expected, Song Chi's next sentence was to ask, you really didn't slip and fall? Do you remember what exactly happened at that time? Is there a misunderstanding? Chu Xiong said indifferently, there's no misunderstanding. Chushi has always been like this. She only reveals her true nature when it's just the two of us. It's just that I didn't expect her to want my life this time. Song Chi opened her mouth in disbelief. Impossible, Chushi's personality is so good. If you don't believe me, why ask me? The truth is like this. I can't sue her, and I don't expect anyone to believe me. I'm going to rest. Can you leave now? Chu Xiong looked into Song Chi's eyes. There was no anger of not being trusted, only calmness. At this moment, the ward door was suddenly pushed open. The original owner's brother, Chu Cheng, walked in with a frown and scolded. "You're still lying?" Father Chu also walked in with a face full of displeasure. Song Chi was extremely embarrassed and didn't know what to say. She could only stiffly say goodbye and leave. Father Chu closed the door and questioned. "Chu Xiong, what are you trying to do? You fell into the water and such a big thing happened. Everyone was worried about you. Your mother and sister were crying so much that they thought you were dead. In the end, you woke up and your first reaction was to accuse your sister. Do you know how big of an accusation this is? How do you want others to look at your sister?" Family war was unavoidable. Chu Xiong only felt that they were very annoying. There was no way to explain things clearly without evidence. Moreover, in the eyes of these biased people, Chu Shi was the truth. The only thing she could do was to firmly express her attitude. Chu Cheng saw her impatience and angrily pointed at her. "You still don't know how to repent. What do you want? You know that Cece's heart is not good. Do you want something to happen to her?" Chu Xiong leaned against the bed and spread her hands. "She wanted something to happen to me. I've already walked through the gates of hell once. I didn't say anything false. It was your Cece who was full of lies. I will never acknowledge her as my sister. Never. You still dare to lie." Father Chu raised his hand and was about to hit her. Chu Xiong looked at him coldly and said in a low voice, "You have no right to hit me. After I'm discharged, I'll immediately move out of the Chu family. All the money you've spent on me all these years, I'll return it all to you. From now on we have nothing to do with each other." Father Chu was stunned by her sharp gaze and subconsciously put down his hand. He and Chu Cheng were both surprised by Chu Xiong's words. Why did Chu Xiong accuse Chu Shi? Why was she so unrepentant? Why was she so determined to move out of the Chu family and cut off all ties with them? Just because she slipped and fell into the water. This was illogical. It seemed that Chu Shi had harmed Chu Xiong to explain Chu Xiong's actions. But how was that possible? Chu Shi was still in the intensive care unit. She was not a child who would do such a thing. 18 years of habit made Father Chu and Chu Cheng subconsciously stand on Chu Shi's side. Even if they felt that something was wrong, they did not believe Chu Xiong and only felt angry. The two of them also did not think that the 18-year-old Chu Xiong would really cut off all ties with her family. Chu Cheng even snorted coldly. "Are you in the rebellious stage? Then you're really too insensible." After that, the two of them were not interested in looking at Chu Xiong anymore. They slammed the door and went to Chu Shi's side. Chu Xiong lay down and continued to absorb the spiritual energy. Actually, it was not difficult to get rid of them. Even if they quarreled, they could not do anything to her. After all, this was a society ruled by law. It was impossible for her to fall for Chu Shi's methods of harming people secretly. At most, she would start to feel a little annoyed. Chu Xiong went through the original owner's memories from when she was young and found that the original owner had really started to pay attention to medicine. Her dream had always been to treat heart disease. Perhaps this had already become the original owner's shackles that had bound her since she was born. To the original owner, Chu Shi was probably really like a nightmare. The original owner actually did not notice Chu Xiong's malice towards her. What Chu Shi had done to Song Chi just now was what she had noticed from her memories. Since there were bystanders who were curious, then she would provide them with some material. Sooner or later, Chu Shi would give herself away. And together with this incident, her reputation would be ruined. The Chu family felt sorry for Chu Shi and accompanied her. Chu Xiong quietly recuperated her body and had a good night's sleep. When the doctor came to check on her the next day, Chu Xiong had completely recovered. The Chu family was even more dissatisfied when they saw this because Chu Shi was still lying on the bed with a pale face, but Chu Xiong was fine. This kind of method of bullying her own sister for no reason was too hateful. The Chu family did not have a good attitude towards Chu Xiong. Chu Xiong ignored them and directly took a taxi home after she was discharged from the hospital. Chu Qing thought about it and was still worried. He frowned and said to Mr. and Mrs. Chu, "I'll go back and take a look. Don't cause any more trouble. I really don't know what's wrong with her." Chu Shi lay on the bed and said sadly, "Am I very unlikable?" The three of them quickly comforted her. "How can that be? Our Cece is the best. Chu Xiong is just in the rebellious stage and doesn't know anything. Don't worry about her." Chu Qing also said, "Just focus on recuperating. I'll help you teach her a lesson. Don't think too much." Chu Shi was really doted on by the Chu family. The three of them almost gave all their love to her and had infinite patience and care for her. They no longer had the energy to pay attention to Chu Xiong. As Chu Chang drove home, he was still thinking about how he should teach Chu Xiong a good lesson while his parents and sister were not around. He wanted to make Chu Xiong remember that she could never do such a thing again. Who knew that when he got home, he would see a taxi parked at the entrance of the villa. Chu Xiong was walking out with her suitcase, looking like she was about to leave. He immediately got out of the car and ran over, grabbing Chu Xiong's arm. "What are you doing? Where are you going with the luggage? Let go." Chu Xiong pinched the acupuncture point on his wrist, making him let go immediately in pain. Then she said coldly, "When I was in the hospital, I was already very clear. I hope you don't make me repeat it again and again. Chu Shi harmed me and you all stood on her side. I don't care who you believe in the past 18 years, but this time my life is at stake. I won't forgive you." Chu Cheng felt both incredulous and angry. He stared at her with his hands on his hips and said, "You've grown up, haven't you? You've been admitted to university and become an adult. Have you learned to go against your family? Are you angry that we dote on Cece more than we dote on you? Don't you think about Cece's body? You want to compete with her for favor. Don't you feel embarrassed? How could Cece harm you? You deliberately caused you to fall into the water. Who would do such a thing to their own sister? You still blame us for not believing you. If you want to lie, you should tell a more reliable lie." Chu Xiong put the luggage in the car and put her hand on the car door. "I won't come back in the future. I'll transfer the money from the Chu family to your account. I won't disturb your family's happiness. I hope you won't disturb my life either. I hate each and every one of you." Chu Xiong got into the car and said indifferently, "Please drive." Chu Cheng was shocked by her last sentence. Before he could react, he saw the taxi drive away. He chased after her for 2 steps and cursed. He held his head and felt a headache coming on. How could there be such an insensible person in the family? She loved to snatch things from his sister since she was young. When she grew up, she put on a straight face as if someone owed her money. She even deliberately created a completely opposite image with his sister and especially hated being with her. Now, she could even lie about murder without batting an eyelid. She even learned to run away from home and cut off all ties. The older she got, the more annoying she was. Chu Qing entered Chu Xiong's room and looked around. He found that the room had not changed. He guessed that her luggage might have only taken 2 changes of clothes and important documents. He shook his head. How was this moving? She was clearly throwing a tantrum. He didn't take it too seriously. He called Father Chu and didn't go out to look for her. The Chu family were all angry. Chu Xiong was also 18 years old. They all thought that Chu Xiong would naturally come back after spending all the money on her. It was also good to temper her temper outside. After suffering, she wouldn't make a fuss. When the time came, they would let Chu Xiong apologize to Chu Shi properly. Chu Shi also thought so. Who would believe that a student who had never left home could survive alone? What did Chu Xiong rely on to survive outside? Didn't she just stay in a few hotels and come back dejectedly? If she went to university, she would need tuition fees. Could it be that Chu Xiong didn't even want to go to university? The Chu family were all crazy about Chu Xiong. Only Chu Shi understood Chu Xiong's actions because she really did want Chu Xiong to die. She didn't want to murder her. She had proposed to go to sea because she thought that everyone on the cruise ship liked her. So what if Chu Xiong got into the best medical school with high scores? No one liked her either. She just wanted to make Chu Xiong unhappy. Who asked Chu Xiong to do better than her? But at that time there were only the two of them on the deck, and they were both standing at the side where they could fall. She couldn't help but have an idea in her heart. If Chu Xiong didn't exist, how good would that be? So she took advantage of Chu Xiong's unstable body and tripped her. Then, when the others rushed over, she pressed her chest to make them worry about her and deliberately delayed the time to save Chu Xiong. When Chu Xiong stopped breathing, she was so happy that her tears were tears of joy. But Chu Xiong was actually so lucky. Not only did she wake up, she even accused her of murder in front of everyone. She was really scared, so scared that she had a heart attack. Fortunately, no one believed Chu Xiong. If she was Chu Xiong, she might have been angered to death. It was normal for Chu Xiong to run away from home and cut off all ties. When she heard Mother Chu and her say that when Chu Xiong returned home, they would ask Chu Xiong to apologize to her, the fear in her heart disappeared. At that time, Chu Xiong would be sullen to death, right? She really wanted to know what Chu Xiong's expression would be when she apologized. The four of them were all thinking about Chu Xiong, and Chu Xiong had completely forgotten about them. They were originally unrelated people. Chu Shi had harmed the original owner, not her. Their family had nothing to do with her at all. If they left completely. The original owner's card still had 30,000 yuan. Chu Xiong stayed in the hotel and calculated the date. There were still 2 months before she went to university, and it was enough to earn money. Her medical skills were not bad, but she knew nothing about modern medicine. Since the original owner had been admitted to the best medical school, she might as well study medicine. Anyway, she had nothing to do. She went out and bought a digital tablet. In a short while, she drew a character and a landscape picture and posted it on the professional artist forum. Soon, someone came to inquire about the price, asking her to draw a book illustration. Chu Xiong set the price at 2,000 yuan per illustration. In her previous life, she had already reached the peak of the comics industry. Her drawing skills were very good, so the price of 2,000 yuan was very low. However, she was still a newcomer here, and no one knew her. Naturally, she couldn't ask for a price. This price was still considered high. The illustration was placed there, and others would judge whether it was good or not. Soon she received 5 orders. Drawing was as natural as breathing to her. Usually, drawing like this would not be too much even if it took a month. Took a long time to draft, draw, edit, color and so on. As the saying goes, slow work produces fine work. Often, only by taking things slowly could one hand in an exquisite drawing. However, Chu Xiong only drew this to quickly earn some startup capital. She didn't plan to stay in this circle in the future, so she didn't think too much. In one afternoon, she finished drawing 5 pictures and handed them over. During this period, when she sent the sketches and edits to discuss with the clients, they were extremely surprised. They couldn't accept her speed. However, they were surprised and they got used to it. Of course, the 5 of them were happy to receive the drawings in half a day. Moreover, the drawings were so good that it completely exceeded their expectations. The 5 of them happily paid. She earned 10,000 yuan in one afternoon, and it was only to draw a few pictures. Chu Xianglai didn't feel tired at all. She could finish it in her room, and it was quite comfortable. In the time it took her to go out for a meal, her 5 pictures had spread within a certain range. Many people were amazed, and many interested clients came to Chu Xiong to inquire about them. As more people asked, the orders weren't just for illustration. There were other orders with more expensive prices. Of course, Chu Xiong picked the ones with the highest prices. Her drawings were good enough, better than others. That was why she could achieve such an effect in such a short time. Chu Xiong was very satisfied with this kind of fast money. As she moved her brush, money kept coming into her account, and the amount of savings in her card increased. She drew like this for 3 days, took a few big orders, and earned more than 100,000 yuan as startup capital. She started to speculate in the short term and continued to earn fast money. She started the mode of making money by making money. With money, she naturally lived well. She left home for a month and didn't go back. Chu Xiang had been discharged from the hospital long ago, and the Chu family couldn't sit still after waiting for her for a long time. They kept contacting her. In the end, it was as if she had disappeared from the face of the earth. All her contact details were changed, and she disappeared without a trace. Just as they were about to call the police, Chu Cheng received the money Chu Xiang transferred to him, and then received a call from Chu Xiang. "I've returned the money to you. It's more, not less. Chu Shi's body is not good, so you should blame the person who gave birth to her. I don't owe her, and I don't owe you. In the future, let's go our separate ways. Don't come looking for me again. It's very annoying." Chu Xiang didn't give Chu Cheng a chance to speak and hung up immediately. Chu Cheng called back and found that it was a call from the internet cafe. He still couldn't find Chu Xiang. Only then did the Chu family vaguely feel that Chu Xiang was serious. Chu Cheng looked at the transfer records in his account and frowned. "Where did she get the money?" Mr. Chu said angrily. "This is too outrageous. She hasn't come home for so long. What is Chu Xiang doing outside? We must find her and bring her back." Chu Shi lowered her head and said disappointedly, "I didn't do it. Why doesn't sister believe me?" Mother Chu hugged her and comforted her. "Cece, don't be sad. It's not your fault. Your sister is not sensible. When she comes back, Mother will teach her well. Don't let her bully you like this again. You've just been discharged from the hospital not long ago. Don't think too much and increase the burden on your heart. Don't let Mother worry, okay?" Chu Shi leaned into Mother Chu's embrace and nodded obediently. "I know. Mother, don't worry." The more obedient and sensible Chu Shi was, the more unreasonable Chu Xiang was. The Chu family was suppressing a wave of anger in their hearts. They only wanted to see Chu Xiang teach her a lesson. Because they knew that Chu Xiang wasn't in danger, they weren't worried. They didn't want to file a case even if they wanted to. After all, she wasn't really missing. Who would care about this kind of thing? Therefore, the longer they couldn't find Chu Xiang, the angrier they became. During the summer vacation, Chu Xiang made quick money by painting, editing, trading in stocks and so on. She earned enough savings to ensure a high quality of life, and then welcomed her university life. When she went to report to school, Chu Cheng was already waiting at the school gate. There was a sea of people. He was afraid that he would miss someone, so he kept looking at the crowd and was very tired. In the end, he still couldn't find Chu Xiang after looking for more than an hour. His expression was very ugly. He went directly to the school window to ask, took out his household register and said that he and his sister were separated. He successfully asked for Chu Xiang's dormitory number and quickly went to find her. Chu Xiang chose a double dormitory. There were a total of 4 such dormitories. She was fast enough to get one. The other girl in the dormitory was from another city. Her name was Xia Yunhui. She had a round face and liked to smile. She even took out the specialties from her hometown to give Chu Xiang. When Chu Cheng came, Chu Xiang was holding the specialties and smiling. "I'll take you to eat the specialties here when you have time." Chu Cheng was stunned when he saw her. They hadn't seen each other for 2 months. Chu Xiang's hair had reached her shoulders and was gently tucked behind her ears, showing a little girl's gentleness and beauty. And Chu Xiang was wearing a light blue dress, which made her look very demure and beautiful. Standing there, she was an elegant and picturesque girl. Especially, Chu Xiang's smile was so beautiful. This was Chu Xiang that he had never seen before. Chu Xiang turned her head and saw him. Her smile faded. "What's the matter?" Chu Cheng frowned. "You don't seem to be surprised that I came here." Chu Xiang put the specialties on her table, carried her bag and walked to Chu Cheng. She said rudely, "If you don't want to listen to me, don't talk nonsense. You're unreasonable. This has always been the style of the Chu family. There's nothing to be surprised about. Go out. Don't disturb my classmates. Chu Xiang pushed him away and walked out of the door. Chu Qing had to follow her. He was unhappy. How can you talk to me like this? Go home with me now and apologize to my parents. You don't know how anxious they were when you were missing. You are not here anymore. There should be a limit to your willfulness. I'm 18 years old. I don't need a guardian. I can decide who I want to see and where I want to go. Chu Xiang walked out of the school with Chu Cheng. I think I have made it very clear that I don't want to have anything to do with the four of you. Since you are here today, you can move my household registration out. Chu Xiang took the household registration booklet from his hand and put it into her bag. Thank you for driving me. I'll send you the household registration booklet later. Chu Xiang stopped a taxi and left without giving Chu Qing any chance to respond. Chu Xiang was the first to register. After going through the admission procedures, she went through the procedures of transferring her household registration to the school. Now she had the household registration booklet of her family, so she successfully moved her household registration out in a few minutes. She sent the household registration booklet of the Chu family back by express delivery in the same city. Chu Cheng returned without success. He didn't know what to do when he returned to the Chu family. Mr. Chu was so angry that he patted the table and scolded Chu Xiang for being a rebellious daughter. He told the Chu family not to look for her and not to come back. However, no matter what the reaction of the Chu family was, Chu Xiang didn't know. She went back to the dormitory with nothing to do. She bought all the necessary things and packed up her things neatly. She was ready to start her college life. When the light was about to go out in the evening, Xia Yunhui asked her curiously, "Is the person who came to you today your boyfriend?" Chu Xiang disliked it. "No, it's my brother. But I don't have a good relationship with my family. I basically don't contact with them. If someone comes to you, it's my family or something. Just ignore them." Oh, okay. They just met each other. Xia Yunhui was too embarrassed to ask more for fear of touching a minefield. She continued the previous topic. "Do you have a boyfriend? Or a suitor with whom you have a good relationship?" Chu Xiang looked at the mosquito net above the bed. After a few seconds she said, "No, I'm not interested in love." Yunhui smiled. "You must have been busy with your studies before, so you haven't thought about it. I have a childhood sweetheart. He was also admitted to this city. The university is not far from us. I'll introduce him to you after the military training." "Okay." Chu Xiang closed her eyes and quietly listened to Xia Yunhui's story about how she and her sweetheart grew up together, and how they were admitted to the university together. It seemed that she was listening to the girl's shy thoughts. Such a pure love was always so beautiful. Chu Xiang didn't like to live with others, but Xia Yunhui's character was very good. She felt very comfortable living in the dormitory. First-year students had to live on campus. Chu Xiang felt that if the Chu family didn't disturb her, perhaps she wouldn't have to live off campus in her second year. The Chu family was angered by her move of household registration. They knew that her attitude towards her brother in school was so bad, so they simply didn't look for her and ignored her. They were more concerned about whether Chushi would be used to living on campus. Chushi's university didn't have a double dormitory. The least number of people was a 4-person dormitory. Chushi's health wasn't good and her character was soft. They were really afraid that she would be wronged, so naturally they didn't pay too much attention to Chu Xiang. Chu Xiang liked their decision to not disturb her. During the military training, she started to borrow professional books from the library to read. Xia Yunhui saw this and even teased her. "You must have always loved studying and not playing. You didn't give boys a chance to chase you at all. Otherwise, you're so beautiful and there would be a lot of flower protectors. Do you want me to introduce you to one? The people in my boyfriend's dormitory are all very good." Chu Xiang looked at the book and smiled without raising her head. "The sea of knowledge is too beautiful. I'm immersed in it and am not interested in anything else. Quickly go and find your childhood sweetheart to chat on the phone. Don't worry about me, it won't affect me reading. Then I'll really make a call. I won't accompany you. Go! Xia Yunhui's daily life was to chat with her boyfriend on the phone sweetly until her phone was hot. Chu Xiang didn't care about what was happening outside. She quickly read professional books page by page, memorizing all the knowledge in them. The two people who seemed to be completely different actually got along very well in the same dormitory. They didn't feel uncomfortable at all. The result of Chu Xiang's hard work was that when the military training ended and the professional classes started, she could easily understand everything the teacher said and even draw inferences to ask the teacher many questions. This also made a few teachers take notice of her and discover that she was a good seedling for studying medicine. Chu Xiang originally knew medicine. Whether it was theory classes or practical classes, she was always the first to learn the knowledge taught by the teachers. She was often called up by the teachers to answer questions and practice for everyone. Soon, the whole specialization and even the entire department knew of Chu Xiang's name. They knew that she was an elite among the top students and was the favorite in the eyes of the teachers. They admired her from the bottom of their hearts. Chu Shi didn't live comfortably in university. She wasn't used to the four of them living in a room. Some of them were grinding their teeth, some of them weren't hygienic enough, and some of them were always on the phone. She felt that even the air was not fresh. On the surface, she got along well with them, but in her heart, she was very annoyed because this kind of life was not as comfortable as at home. She was also not used to Chu Xiang not being home for so long. It had been 18 years, and she could always find a sense of accomplishment from Chu Xiang. She could always snatch away everything from Chu Xiang. Now that they were separated and couldn't see each other, she actually felt that something was missing. She felt that Chu Xiang was out of her control, and it was very difficult for her to accept. When Chu Xiang left home for 5 months, Chu Shi finally couldn't take it anymore. She asked for Chu Xiang's dormitory number and personally went to the medical school to look for Chu Xiang. Chu Xiang was the most outstanding freshman in the first year and had even gone on stage as a freshman representative to speak. Many people knew this beautiful girl. When Chu Shi walked towards the female dormitory, someone saw her and smiled as she greeted her. Chu Xiang, why are you today? You changed your hairstyle. Did you get a haircut? Chu Shi smiled gently. Hello, I'm Chu Xiang's twin sister. My name is Chu Shi. We look very similar, don't we? The other party was stunned and smiled embarrassedly. I'm sorry, I didn't know Chu Xiang had a twin sister. I mistook you for someone else. I don't think we look alike, but we clearly look the same. Knowing that we're twins is easy to distinguish. Actually, it's quite obvious. Are you looking for Chu Xiang? At this time, she should be studying in the library. She especially loves to study. Chu Shi heard this and walked in front of her. Can you bring me to the library? It's more convenient for you to call her phone. We have a misunderstanding. She won't pick up my calls. Chu Shi lowered her head a little dejectedly and looked a little pitiful. When she raised her head again, she seemed to be forcing a smile. So, can you please bring me to the library to look for my sister? I'm counting on you. Chapter 124. Chu Shi's appearance was too delicate and pitiful, and she looked too harmless. The girl she had asked agreed without thinking and personally brought Chu Shi to the library. Chu Xiang was now a popular figure in the school. Almost everyone knew that she would be reading in the library at this time of the day, reading professional books that were thicker than bricks. Moreover, she sat at a fixed window seat. Chu Shi attracted a lot of attention as soon as she walked in. Her dressing was gentle and cute, while Chu Xiang had a kind of confidence and strength. The two of them had completely opposite temperaments. Everyone's first reaction when they saw her was, why did Chu Xiang's style seem a little off today? Then, everyone looked in the direction of Chu Xiang and found that Chu Xiang was sitting by the window, reading. The two girls looked exactly the same but felt very different. Anyone could tell that they were twin sisters. Almost everyone nearby looked over curiously. After all, such beautiful twins were rare. Chu Xiang was also so outstanding. Everyone subconsciously wanted to take a few more glances. Chu Shi slowly walked over to Chu Xiang and sat down beside her. She revealed a sweet smile and whispered, "Sister." Everyone saw that Chu Xiang's face was instantly covered with frost. The two students sitting opposite Chu Xiang almost immediately felt the tense atmosphere and inexplicably didn't even dare to breathe loudly. Chu Xiang's voice was extremely cold as she said in a low voice, "Are you here to continue to harm me, or to find out if your illness can still be cured?" Chu Shi had originally planned to cry in front of everyone and complain that Chu Xiang had misunderstood her and bullied her. However, when she heard that her illness could not be cured, she was stunned. She subconsciously looked at Chu Xiang and didn't react at all. Chu Xiang closed her book and took out her phone. She said indifferently, "The heart is deformed first. Some people are lucky enough to read it and can be cured. Some people will be plagued with illness for the rest of their lives. Unfortunately, you are the latter. During this period of time I've been studying medicine, I've confirmed one thing, and that is, there is no doctor in this world who can cure you." Chu Shi's pupils shrank and her face instantly turned pale. She suddenly stood up and glared at Chu Xiang. Her lips trembled as she sternly reprimanded, "You're lying. *T. My illness can be cured." Her shriek attracted the attention of everyone in the library, their faces full of surprise. Chu Xiang hugged her books and stood up. She bowed her head apologetically. "I'm sorry for disturbing everyone. I'll leave now." Chu Xiang put down the chair and walked towards the door. Chu Shi pulled her back and said anxiously, "Chu Xiang, stop right there. You better make it clear, what do you mean by that? Who did you confirm it with? How did you confirm that? What gives you the right to do that?" Chu Xiang frowned and got rid of her grip. She said loudly, "Manager, please call the security. This girl has been harassing me." "Thank you." The manager was stunned. Seeing that Chu Xiang's expression did not seem to be smiling, he hurriedly called the security guard. Chu Shi widened her eyes and said, "I'm your younger sister." Chu Xiang took a few steps back and picked up her phone to call for an ambulance. "We have a heart attack here. Please come as soon as possible. Thank you." "I didn't have a heart attack. Chu Xiang." Chu Shi looked at the unfamiliar Chu Xiang in disbelief. What had happened in the past 5 months? Why did Chu Xiang seem to have become another person? She was about to speak when Chu Xiang said coldly, "Chu Shi, ever since you deliberately caused me to fall into the water and almost drown me, I have nothing to do with you. If your memory is bad, let me tell you again. I have already cut off all ties with the Chu family. I have even returned the upbringing fees to the Chu family. Please don't come and harass me again. However, since you are curious about your illness, I can answer you." Chu Shi was about to defend herself, but her words were blocked in her mouth. She stared at Chu Xiang and waited for her answer. Chu Xiang looked at her and said, "Even the best doctors in the world can't cure your illness. Based on the frequency of your heart attacks, if you recuperate quietly, you can still live to 25 years old. However, your heart is dark and you think too much. You only think about how to act pitiful and scheme against others. You might not be able to hold on by 22 years old." Chu Shi took a deep breath and looked at Chu Xiang in shock. These words were like a sharp knife piercing Chu Shi's heart. When had she ever suffered such a vicious and cruel attack? She pressed her chest and her breathing quickened. Her whole body started to tremble. "You. Sorry, I was too blunt. However, as a medical student, I need to tell you the truth. If you maintain your original personality, 22 years old is definitely your limit. Then you have less than 4 years left to live." Chu Xiang shook her head. "Maybe you should cherish the time you have left and not waste it coming to pester me. After all, I didn't die because of you last time, so I won't give you a second chance in this life. I also won't tolerate you like I did for the past 18 years. So, why are you so angry and causing your illness to act up? This will only shorten the rest of your life." Chu Shi's mind was blank. The discomfort in her heart was getting worse and worse, and her vision was turning black. She saw Chu Xiong's mouth open and close, coldly saying cruel words in front of her, cutting off all her hope and directly announcing the date of her death. Chu Xiong was like a demon. At this moment, she was so afraid that she was suffocating. Chu Shi suddenly fainted. Chu Xiong was already prepared and quickly gave her a simple first aid. After ensuring that she could wait until the ambulance arrived, she got up and stood to the side. Many students in the library had already stood up and gathered here. Chu Xiong bowed to them and said apologetically, "I'm sorry. Because of my matter, the order of the library has been disrupted and disturbed everyone." Her polite and apologetic appearance made it impossible for others to criticize her. Even if they felt that she shouldn't be so cruel to a patient, especially her own sister, they knew that Chu Xiong was especially good in all aspects. When such a thing happened suddenly, they couldn't feel that Chu Xiong was vicious. However, some people carefully recalled Chu Xiong's words just now and were shocked to find that there was a lot of information. What about Chu Xiong almost drowning because of her sister? What about Chu Xiong cutting ties with her family to pay off the upbringing fees? What about Chu Xiong being pestered by her sister and enduring in the past? These few simple sentences directly described a clear and complete story. There were already students who were quick to post their own speculations on the school forum. The matter was very clear. Chu Xiong and Chu Shi were twins. One was healthy and the other had a pre-existing heart disease, and her illness was very serious. The younger sister was a black-hearted lotus. She had always pretended to be pitiful, causing Chu Xiong to be wronged and suffer for 18 years. Even so, the younger sister was still not satisfied and even plotted to kill Chu Xiong. The Chu family must have been biased towards the younger sister, causing Chu Xiong to break ties with her family in anger. It had been 3 months since school started, but they had not seen the Chu family come to school to look for Chu Xiong. This meant that they did not care about Chu Xiong's break. And today Chu Shi came to look for Chu Xiong. Using Chu Xiong's words, Chu Shi wanted to continue pestering and harming her. Chu Xiong was not willing to endure and even used the most effective method to attack Chu Shi, causing Chu Shi to faint from anger. Some people said that Chu Xiong should not have done this. She was a medical student and a doctor should be benevolent. No matter what, she should still have kindness towards her patients. There were also some people who said that if these speculations were true, then Chu Shi deserved it. Why did Chu Xiong have to endure and not be able to avoid breaking ties with her? Studying medicine was not like living on one's knees. Didn't they hear that Chu Xiong was almost killed by Chu Shi? No matter where this matter was, there would be these two views. No matter what the truth was, it was still so. Chu Xiong stood there indifferently, ignoring the surrounding gazes that were sizing her up. Whether it was curiosity, rejection, or approval, she was not a public figure. No matter what kind of thoughts they had, it would not affect her. This was also the reason why Chu Xiong cut the Gordian knot. She would not be in the entertainment industry in this life, so she did not need to care about public opinion. Medical skills relied on professional words. When her medical skills had reached a level that others could not reach, would discussing her family matters affect her? People who wanted her to treat illnesses would not consider her family matters. So she only needed to express her attitude, be clear about the facts, and block Chu Shi's mouth so that Chu Shi would not have a chance to defend herself on the spot. After that, she did not need to respond to this matter at all. Things would not develop in a direction that was disadvantageous to her. Chu Shi would also not casually look for her again. After all, Chu Shi also cherished her life. The security guards and the ambulance came quickly. Chu Xiong refused to accompany Chu Shi to the hospital and asked the medical staff to use Chu Shi's phone to contact the Chu family. After that, she apologized to everyone again and left the library. After she left, the students discussed animatedly. No one was in the mood to read anymore. How explosive was this news? The famous Chu Xiong actually had such a huge conflict with his family that he caused his younger sister to fall ill from anger. Was she really wronged or was she just a hypocrite? The school forum was flooded with Chu Xiong's news. After Chu Xiang left, she called Chu Cheng. Your sister came to the school to pester me. I just happened to tell her about her remaining lifespan. She has now been taken to the hospital for treatment by the ambulance. I hope you can control her well in the future and not let her run around. If she runs to places where she should not run, she won't even know how she died. Chu Cheng was shocked beyond words. Chu Xiang, are you even human? Do you have a heart? Sissy is your sister. How can you be so vicious? Chu Xiang said, I can be even more vicious. If you don't believe me, your family can appear in front of me one by one. Every time I see you, I will provoke her once. Let's see if her life is longer or mine is longer. How many times can her heart be tormented by you? Chu Cheng felt that he was about to have a heart attack from anger. Was this the Chu Xiang he had watched grow up? Even the demonesses in TV dramas were not so vicious. He was so angry that he gritted his teeth. Chu Xiang, you're too much. If I had known, I wouldn't have raised you when you were still around. You caused Sisi to suffer so much. Chu Xiang chuckled. Don't talk nonsense. Remember, from now on, as long as any of you appear in front of me, I will tell Chushi not to leave the hospital bed. After today you should believe that I can do it. Don't challenge my patience again. I don't have any patience at all. Of course I don't want to care about you at all. The capital is so big, we will never see each other again. Chu Xiang hung up the phone and blocked Chu Cheng. She was not afraid of Chu Cheng recording her. With such a sudden few words, Chu Cheng would not have thought of them. The last time Chu Cheng came to the dormitory to look for her when she started school, she felt very annoyed. This time, the moment she saw Chushi, she thought of this once and for all solution. Chushi was the Chu family's weak spot. She had already made Chushi fall ill twice on the boat and in the library just now. It was enough to show that she had the ability. In addition, she had broken off relations with her family, she was studying medicine, and she had accused Chushi of harming her. The Chu family was now only afraid that she would do something to Chushi. How would they dare to act rashly and find trouble with her? If she really destroyed their hearts, they would not be able to bear the consequences. To the Chu family, they were afraid of taking action for fear of breaking the vases. Chu Xiang did not think that they would bother her again. After all, one less rebellious person like her was a good thing for the Chu family. There was no need to take the risk to look for her again. They also did not want to acknowledge such a vicious family member. She could be very kind, but she could also be very cruel. After all, she had never been a good person. Chu Xiang took the food back to the dormitory. After a while, she saw Xia Yunhui running back to the dormitory, panting. Xia Yunhui saw her and asked with concern, Xiang, are you okay? Chu Xiang raised her head and looked at her in confusion. What's wrong with me? Xia Yunhui sized her up a few times. Seeing that her expression was normal and did not look like anything had happened, she heaved a sigh of relief and sat beside her. It's just the matter of your sister in the library. The forum has been flooded. Have you seen everything? Don't care about those messy things. They don't know the truth. What do they know? Chu Xiang smiled and said, Others don't know the inside story. They can do whatever they want. Have you eaten? Can I share some with you? Xia Yunhui saw that she had eaten and got up to pull her. Let's go out and eat something delicious. Today we have encountered such a strange thing. It's only right to eat good food and relax. My boyfriend is downstairs. Let him treat and I can introduce you to him. Chu Xiang did not understand why she always wanted to introduce her and her boyfriend to each other. It was as if the other students were like this and wanted everyone to be close. Sometimes the people in the couple's dormitory wanted to play together. She sighed. Your boyfriend is waiting for you downstairs. He wants to go on a date with you, right? The two of you can have some alone time. I don't want to be a third wheel. My food is quite delicious. What third wheel? Let's go. I was afraid that something would happen to you, so I asked him to wait. I thought that if something happened, there would be one more person to help. Xia Yunhui tilted her head and looked at her. She asked seriously. Are you really okay? We are such good sisters. If you are unhappy, you can tell me. Believe in you. No matter what happens, I will be on your side. Also, you want my boyfriend. Both of us will help you. Chu Xiong looked at her and smiled. Okay, let's go out and play. But since it's about me, it's my treat today. If you don't agree, I won't go. Okay, let's go. Don't just stay in school and be a nerd. Let's go out and have fun once in a while. Let's go. Xia Yunhui helped Chu Xiong clean up the table. After Chu Xiong changed her clothes, she pulled her and ran downstairs. Jingyu. Xia Yunhui shouted at a boy under the tree. She smiled and said, This is Chu Xiong. I mentioned her to you. Xiong, this is my boyfriend, Jingyu. Jingyu smiled and nodded to Chu Xiong. Hello, Yunyun often mentions you to me. You have a very good relationship. I finally have a chance to get to know you. Chu Xiong smiled and said, She also mentioned you. I'm sorry to disturb your date today. Xia Yunhui held Chu Xiong's hand and smiled. We grew up together. It's a date. What's there to disturb? Let's find a place to have a big meal first and then go to karaoke. Yes, let's find a restaurant that can sing. It's lively and has a good atmosphere. Jingyu, see if there's any place. Do you need a table? Xia Yunhui and Chu Xiong walked together. Zhang Yu naturally followed beside her and took out his phone to find a suitable restaurant. The two really had a good relationship. It could be seen that the tacit understanding and intimacy along the way were ingrained into each other's bones. No wonder Xia Yunhui's personality was so good. From the two of them, one could imagine what kind of environment they grew up in. The two of them were very cheerful, optimistic, and positive. Xia Yunhui whispered in Chu Xiong's ear. What do you think? The corners of Chu Xiong's lips curled up as she quietly replied. Very compatible. Xia Yunhui smiled happily. She was very satisfied with Chu Xiong's answer. Along the way, when the students saw Chu Xiong, they couldn't help but look at her. Xia Yunhui was afraid that Chu Xiong would feel uncomfortable, so she looked at her several times with worry. She was surprised to find that she really didn't care about other people's gazes. She walked leisurely as if she was used to this kind of attention. This kind of calm appearance gave birth to an inexplicable admiration in Xia Yunhui's heart. Her roommate was really good. She was very good in all aspects. She really couldn't understand what the Chu family was thinking. They actually made such a good person like Chu Xiong so angry that she left home. The school dormitory door was locked at 10 o'clock. The three of them ate, sang, and played in the cafeteria for several hours. During these few hours, Xia Yunhui's admiration for Chu Xiong didn't stop. Chu Xiong's singing was too good, wasn't it? She was like a singer. There were also finger-guessing games, riddles, and cold jokes. Chu Xiong knew everything. She was simply an invincible general. Xia Yunhui had more fun that night than when she went on a date with Zheng Yu. It was as if she was being led by a big boss. She had thought that Chu Xiong was a bookworm who only knew how to read and study in school. Turned out that Chu Xiong was also so good at playing. Her charm was irresistible. After returning to the dormitory, she still wanted to continue. Lying on the bed, she tossed and turned, unable to fall asleep. Hey, Xiong, are you asleep? Chu Xiong spat out a word with her eyes closed. No. Xia Yunhui lay on the bed and looked at her. She said excitedly, Xiong, you're so good. You're the kind of genius who can be good at school and play well. Why are you usually so low-key? If your classmates see you, you'll definitely be the #1 goddess in our school. The boys who like you will line up to the school gate. Chu Xiong found it funny and said, Why would I want so many people to like me? No matter what, I don't need to let others know. But you're only a freshman. Aren't freshmen supposed to enjoy their youth, have fun, and have a good relationship? Look at other people. They're all socializing, joining clubs, and going to scenic spots. Who's studying? Xia Yunhui asked curiously. You go to the library alone, eat alone, and go back to the dormitory to continue reading. Don't you feel bored? Hearing these words, Chu Xiong felt that she had heard the life of a normal freshman. However, she was only interested in medicine now. She had done a lot of things like running around and enjoying her youth in her previous life. It was much more exciting than these activities. She wasn't interested in playing with these big kids. She threw a pillow to Xia Yunhui and said, "Go to sleep. Don't worry about me. If I was bored, would I stay in school? There's a phrase, enjoying oneself. You won't understand it. Just enjoy your youth. Okay, then you must call me when you want to do something." Xia Yunhui was a little regretful that she didn't succeed in abducting Chu Xiang. She always felt that life would be more fun with her. Chu Xiang laughed. "I'll only ask you to study with me. Then forget it. I don't have any big ambitions. I'll study slowly." Xia Yunhui was afraid that Chu Xiang would really watch her study, so she quickly turned to face the wall and turned off the microphone. From then on, Xia Yunhui completely became Chu Xiang's fangirl. In her life, she had never seen anyone as outstanding as Chu Xiang. She had never seen anything that Chu Xiang couldn't do. She was completely Mary Sue. Walking beside Chu Xiang, she felt that she had also become outstanding. The Chu family didn't come to school. The discussion about Chu Xiang in the campus BBS died down. There were so many new things in the university. If Chu Xiang hadn't been in the limelight, the BBS wouldn't have been so popular. The students didn't care about the discussion. Chu Xiang was still gentle and polite in class as before. Everyone's attitude towards her didn't change at all. As for those people who shouldn't have treated her sister like that, she had a lot of things to do. How could she have time to pay attention to other things? Since there was no new development, naturally no one mentioned it again. It didn't affect Chu Xiang at all. The counselor went to Chu Xiang once. He just chatted with her casually to understand her situation. Then he reminded her that it was better not to have such things happen again in the future. It wouldn't have a good influence. Chu Xiang also emphasized to the counselor that she had broken with the Chu family. She hoped that if the Chu family came to the school for anything, the school wouldn't pay attention to it. This matter passed just like that. Chu Xiang's attitude towards professional knowledge was very strict in class. A few teachers still liked her very much. Her learning speed also far exceeded that of her classmates. The questions she asked the teachers for guidance became more and more profound. Her top student mode was fully activated. Although she didn't fit in with the rest of the students, there were really a lot of students who admired her. Who didn't like the strong? The Chu family didn't have it so good. Chushi was really agitated. She stayed in the hospital for half a month before returning home. The Chu family didn't dare to let her stay in the university dormitory like this. They used her medical records to apply for day school and even applied for leave. They wanted her to recuperate at home for a period of time. But the more it was like this, the more Chushi thought of Chu Xiang's words. She was bedridden and couldn't even go to school with a little stimulation. Chu Xiang also said that her illness couldn't be cured at all. She could only live to 25 if she recuperated. If she thought too much and was in a bad mood, she could only live to 22. The more she thought about it, the more uncomfortable she felt. A kind of fear that her life was about to come to an end shrouded her, making her unable to sleep at night. Even eating tasted like chewing wax. She couldn't help but cry and beg her parents to do everything they could to find a doctor, the best doctor, a match for a heart transplant. They had to use any method. She didn't want to die. She also had enough of this fragile heart. But what could the Chu family do? If they had a way, they would have treated her long ago. Their family's conditions weren't bad, but they weren't at the level where they could invite the world's top doctors. A heart transplant was too difficult, almost impossible. Previously, the doctors who kept Chushi's life were still okay. As for the specific lifespan, it would take time to see. But there had never been a doctor like Chu Xiang who said that Chushi couldn't live for many years. After the Chu family scolded Chu Xiang, they also felt a little panicked. After all, Chu Xiang was a medical student. How could she have specially confirmed it? Who knew if she hadn't asked a professor in school to confirm it? They used all kinds of methods to ask people to find a way. After spending a lot of money, they finally sent a scan of Chushi's medical records from birth to adulthood to an internationally renowned doctor. In the end, the answer they received was the same as Chu Xiang's. Chushi's illness was a problem that had not been solved in the current medical field. No one could treat it. The success rate of a heart transplant was very, very low. Moreover, to find a perfectly matched heart was as difficult as climbing a mountain. This was practically a death sentence for Chushi. It was only a few years later. After the Chu family received this answer, they were in great pain. They didn't dare to tell Chushi and just made up a lie. An internationally renowned doctor still had a way. It was just that the heart transplant needed to wait. She wasn't in any danger for the time being. She just needed to relax and live well. Chushi's anxious heart finally calmed down a little, but she still felt like a sharp blade was hanging over her head. It could fall at any time and take her life. Every time she woke up from a nightmare, she hated Chu Xiang even more. If it weren't for Chu Xiang, how could she suddenly face such a cruel reality? How could she feel the taste of despair a few years in advance? It was Chu Xiang who had burst her bubble of hope. Chu Xiang was really ruthless and had hidden it well. She had been silent for 18 years, but the moment she exploded, she ruthlessly shattered her beautiful life. How could she not hate her? The atmosphere in the Chu family could no longer be as warm as before. No matter how much they glossed over it, this matter had always been in their hearts. All of the smiles were forced smiles, which made everyone get along with each other very awkward. They had always known how Chushi's body was, but who would have thought about how long she could live? The doctor had never given them a definite answer. Without the doctor, they felt that as long as Chushi was well taken care of, she would continue to live well like this. As the medical field became more and more advanced, their family's financial situation would also become better and better. Maybe in the future, Chushi would be cured. Or maybe in the future, there would be a chance to invite a better doctor to treat Chushi. In the end, now that Chu Xiang had extinguished all their hopes, the Chu family felt even worse than Chushi because they knew that Chushi couldn't be cured. If they didn't take good care of her, Chushi might only have less than 4 years left to live. Such an outcome was caused by Chu Xiang, but none of them dared to look for Chu Xiang, afraid that Chu Xiang would do something to Chushi again. After Chu Xiang left, a good family became more and more depressing. Sometimes, the few of them were unwilling to go home even when they worked very late, afraid of the uncomfortable atmosphere at home. And they didn't go home, so Chushi stayed at home with the servants. It was also very uncomfortable and very lonely. They almost didn't have a good day. Chushi spent her first semester at university at home, and Chu Xiang was undoubtedly the best in her specialization this semester. She was made an exception by the tutor to be an assistant by his side, and had more opportunities to learn. During the winter break, she didn't idle around either. She earned 2 months' worth of money and then used it to invest. During the new year, Chushi had once tested her family, asking if they wanted to contact Chu Xiang. She had always been such a kind person, and the Chu family didn't find it strange at all. Instead, they fiercely scolded the vicious Chu Xiang and told Chushi to treat it as if she didn't have an elder sister. This was the first year without Chu Xiang in the Chu family. Logically speaking, the family should be happy, but the few of them were dull and couldn't feel anything. Chu Xiang spent the year in Hainan. It was warm and comfortable. She drew in front of the floor-to-ceiling window where she could see the sea, very leisurely. Xia Yunhui called her to wish her a happy new year and said enviously, "Xiang Xiang, you really know how to enjoy life. Running to a place where spring is warm and flowers are blooming must be super cool, right? There are so many people at home, smoking and drinking, making the atmosphere a mess. Ving Yu and I secretly ran out, and it was so noisy that my head hurt." Chu Xiang laughed and said, "Who was the one who was so anxious to book a ticket home when it was the holidays? Didn't you miss home? Now you're complaining. Thinking is just thinking. So many relatives can't bear it. I'm preparing to watch the fireworks with Zheng Yu in the early morning and go back later. They're definitely all asleep." Xia Yunhui thought of something fun and laughed. Did you watch the Spring Festival Gala just now? The father and son's work was so interesting. I laughed until I sprayed water all over Zhengyu. Wasn't it very fun? I didn't watch it. Chu Xiang put down her brush, flipped the paper to another page, and started to draw another picture. Is it the last time you're going back to school during the holidays? Yes, why? Do you miss me? With me by your side, you're still very happy, right? Chu Xiang laughed. Yes, without you doing stupid things by my side, I feel like something is missing. Xia Yunhui protested. What do you mean stupid things? I'm so smart and cute. If others want me to be their best friend, I won't do it. Alright, Xiang, do you want to come back with me for the new year next year? My parents are very hospitable and will definitely treat you like their own daughter. You take good care of me at school. They all think that I'm so lucky to have such a good roommate at school. I'll visit them when I have the chance. Okay, you and Jing, you have fun. It's the new year. Don't just call me and leave your boyfriend out. I'll bring you a gift when school starts. Send me a WeChat message if you want anything. Chu Xiang looked at the time. It was almost early in the morning. She didn't want to disturb them from watching the fireworks sweetly. Xia Yunhui immediately replied excitedly. I'm really rich. I won't stand on ceremony with you. Xiang, you're so good. Love you. Yunyun, that's enough. I'm still here. Chu Xiang heard Zheng Yu's jealous voice from the phone and laughed. Happy New Year. I wish you 2 more love in the new year. I'm hanging up. Chu Xiang had met many professors and tutors in school this semester, and learned a lot of medical knowledge. Other than these, her biggest gain was making Xia Yunhui her best friend. In this life, she and Chushi were twins, but they didn't have any telepathy. Instead, they didn't like each other. However, she and Xia Yunhui were like biological sisters. It was also very fated. Chu Xiang felt that Xia Yunhui was quite like a happy person. She was always laughing and especially happy. When she encountered something bad, she would turn from a gloomy mood to a sunny one. She was especially cheerful. Xia Yunhui was quite like a loudspeaker. Although she didn't know much outside, when she returned to the dormitory, everything was related to her. Everything she knew about the school and outside was told to her by Xia Yunhui. It made her seem like she had integrated into the campus. Chu Xiang was very satisfied with her current life and didn't plan to change it for the time being. After the new year, she went on a simple tour and returned to the capital to visit a few professors and tutors. Relationships were formed through interaction. She herself was a good seedling. She was eager to learn and respected her teachers. No matter which teacher she went to, she was polite and sensible. She got along very well with them, so the teachers naturally liked her more. After school started, everyone realized that the top student Chu Xiang was even more hardworking. Moreover, the things that Chu Xiang was learning were already beginning to be incomprehensible to them. Everyone was in the second semester of university, but Chu Xiang had already jumped out of their circle and was very far away from them. When everyone mentioned Chu Xiang, they were full of admiration. When they mentioned her twin sister incident, it became a part of her legend, a legend in the school. Some people had once asked Chu Xiang to join the student union and various clubs, but they were all rejected by Chu Xiang. She was completely immersed in learning and made full use of every bit of time. She didn't waste a single bit. At the end of the semester, when she applied to go overseas as an exchange student, a few tutors immediately thought of her. Not only did they urge her to sign up, they even wrote her a recommendation letter. They all believed that with Chu Xiang's attitude towards medical skills, she would only learn the best medical skills overseas. They couldn't waste such a good seedling. Chu Xiang's application went very smoothly, but she still had no hope of finding a treatment method. She was attending day school this semester. Occasionally, she would ask for leave when she felt uncomfortable. All the teachers and students knew that her heart wasn't good and it was easy for her to fall ill, so they naturally treated her differently from others. In addition, she had something on her mind and couldn't pretend to be cute and likable like before. There weren't many people who sincerely wanted to be friends with her. It was fine if she was unhappy in school, but urging her parents and brothers to help her find a way to treat her illness was to no avail. Moreover, her parents and brothers spent less and less time with her at home. She kept feeling that they were treating her differently from before, as if they were hiding something from her. The panic in her heart grew heavier and heavier. She really couldn't take it anymore and went to a few hospitals to ask about her condition. She mainly asked which doctor could treat her and whether she could undergo a heart transplant. No one dared to guarantee her this. As for the heart transplant, they even told her that there was no need to think about it. The success rate was so low that no one would do it. Moreover, once the rejection occurred, it would be over. She thought of Chu Xiong again and couldn't sleep at night thinking about her. She and Chu Xiong were twins. Everything about them was almost the same. Even their cells should be the same. If it was Chu Xiong's heart, would the surgery be successful? Would there not be any rejection? Would she be able to live healthily like Chu Xiong? The moment this idea popped up, it took root in her heart like a big tree. She secretly went to the medical school behind the Chu family's back. If she wanted to deal with Chu Xiong, she had to understand Chu Xiong's recent situation. As for Chu Xiong saying that she would faint from anger if she saw her again, she didn't believe it at all. For 18 years she had bullied Chu Xiong. Chu Xiong had only exploded twice. Could it be that she could really win against her? Who knew that after searching around with full confidence, she would receive news that Chu Xiong had already left the country. Chu Xiong would not return to the country for the next 2 years as an exchange student for 2 years. She suddenly felt as if she had been struck by lightning. It really felt like her world had collapsed. Chu Xiong was gone. What was she going to do? Could she still wait until the heart transplant? That you're tuning in to the Whispers of Romance YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.